Welcome to the LXC.
Down in the rift again, where champions ascend. Warden League lights the night.
Alright, Ezreal is just bursting by. Vi is gone. The Ahri is gone. Xayah is just continuing to rain down with these autos, taking one tower shot here.
Control, and it's very hard to walk in, and
I guess Ezreal is coming down, chunking a little bit here. I mean, I like the confidence out of Contingent. They're saying, hey, look, you guys want to fight us? We'll gold gap you. We're long gapping this team right now. Nautilus is picked with the Zyra E in the knockup, and he is gone. Xayah bursts him already. We can see the flash on the buy coming in. You trying to go in on the side, using the ult to come out. Unstoppable does come out in time, but Xayah does fall to the Garen ultimate here. And when they were in the lead, the ultimate coming out from Mordekaiser, the Death Roam, just to make sure that Ornn's ulti doesn't hit. But can Velvet get the kill before the ultimate expires? Yes, she can. She does get the knock up here on with the Warden. It's just Ornn.
really hard to get back because wherever you walk, there's Zed coming.
That ultimate, just to avoid the CC here, does get Soraka does get healed here, and she does survive that ultimate. Zed actually falling to this area here. The knockup falling onto Zudu, the Orange Horn coming in, but it's not even going to be needed. Scrap happening here. I mean, Rel goes in, Kaisa goes in, Ezreal does come out. The Lucian is very weak, but he backs up with the flash and the cooling. The Vi does get the kill onto this Morgana here, and they just continue to track them down. Vex getting the double kill onto both 80 carries. Here, he doesn't have all, he already used it. And they're just gonna track him now. Cassante dashes right back in and right into the Lucian. The Vexo coming in onto this Rel. She has the reset here onto this Ezreal. Do a blink first, he goes in, the blink coming out of Ezreal here, so he doesn't get blown up right away, but the fear is there. By flashing in to finish the kill, but Vex does get the kill credit.
Good evening, and welcome to week 3 of LXC's Warden Split 2. We are live tonight with Akuma Shurikens versus Egonog. My fellow caster is doing something with his peripherals. Something's going on with his mouse, but I'm not sure. Of course. Yeah, we're trying to get the draft law links to work. If there's anything we know, it's that draft law is going to work about 50% of the time. He's here. I see him. I see his face.
After a bit of technical issues and unplugging and replugging, I have appeared from the depths of my desk and I am here to cast. Cast. Holy. Microsoft
Good to
Store,
see it.
do not care that my gaming services have updated. It's good to be here. My keyboard is working, my mouse is working, my whole entire computer decided to take a dump and break my USB slots. So we'll see how it
Love to
goes.
see it. Love to see it.
What's a Caden cast without some technical difficulties?
True. I'm over here trying to get the draft law link to work right now. I'm currently looking at a gray screen, not the 500 internal server error. So, it's slightly different, but if I refresh, I get the internal server error. Who knows? Who knows if it's going to work tonight?
I should probably go into my spectator. A gold one does not fit into this lobby.
Yeah, maybe not. If I hop up, it'll be gold 4, so.
Yeah.
Or gold 3.
Sure,
Forgot it. I promoted
pretty
today.
sure I heard that that we are live. It is nice to be here. Thank you guys all for coming. This is week 3 of Warden. It's great to be here with you, Pradle.
Oh, I have the draft law open. Looks like it is working. So, let's pray it stays that way all night. See, it looks like everybody's still kind of filing into the lobby. Do they have everything? Everybody needs to get into order, but we're almost there. We're almost ready to get into this draft. But as far as I know from Soulkeeper, this is the 3rd place team versus the last place team from Warden. So we shall see. It's going to be a bit of a spicy matchup. The talk of the week is Aurora's unbanned. Aurora's playable this week. Do you think we'll be seeing any Aurora tonight?
I'm hoping so because yesterday when I casted, I did not get, or not yesterday, 2 days ago when I casted, I did not get to see an Aurora, and I want to see Aurora. I've been playing her a bit in solo queue to try to get used to her, and she's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun to watch. She's a lot of fun to see be played, and especially with players of this caliber and this level and of this coordination, at least together, it would be nice to see Aurora played on the highest stage that the LXC can offer, and truly see who can make this champion shine, because she's strong. She's very strong in high elo and in that elite category of players, whereas in lower elo she's got quite a low win rate. So it's gonna be nice to see the difference on how these players pilot her, go through lanes, and ultimately make the best of her kit, which is very interesting.
Yeah. I was going to say, I did get to see a couple of Aurora games yesterday. Unfortunately, it was not the best showing for the Aurora. It was NLE versus RAR. They first picked Aurora both games on the side of NLE and did not have a good laning phase into a Yone. So, both games, actually. They picked the Yone, counterpicked both games. So, we shall see. Hopefully, it's not the same. I'd love to see Aurora pop off this game, get some kills, start bursting people down. But you're right. It's very fun champion to watch. Very fun. I'd love to see how Diamond players, Master players pilot her. So I would love to see an Aurora tonight. But trying to use somebody link some other drafting website, Apex Esports. I don't know, but looks like draft law should be working in theory. Keeping my fingers crossed, but
Never know.
we will see.
But other than Aurora, what are you expecting from these two teams? What type of games are you expecting? What do you want?
I'd like to see. I always prefer to see the Wombo combo comps. I'm an 80 carry player. I love to see Misfortune, so that's what I always like to see. Pick the Aurora, maybe pick a Misfortune with it. But I'd like to see that. But besides that, I don't know too much about these teams. Haven't looked at their match history too much, but let's see. I do have the op.gg's open. See top laners. Looks like Mundo. I did see that in Arbiter earlier this week. A couple of Mundo games, and Mundo had a 100% win rate in Arbiter. So maybe we'll see that tonight. we did see there were a couple of nerfs to AD carries actually this patch. So I'm curious how the AD carry meta is going to shift on this week. See, maybe we'll see a little bit less of the Zeri, maybe a little bit less Kraken Slayer and or Static Shiv rushes from AD carries. So we'll have to see. My prediction was maybe it'll shift less away from those crit 80 carries, those tank shredding on hit 80 carries, and maybe it'll be a bit more of the lethality 80 carries. Like maybe we'll be seeing the Jin with the collector rush, lethality misfortune, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, one thing I've been seeing from players at least, and as we wait for, to figure out draft for 40 minutes as draft will never wants to work. I really want to see sort of misfortune getting billed correctly. I've been seeing a lot of collector rushes when that's not what players should be doing. The BT rush is the more optimal way. We'll definitely if misfortune is locked in here, we'll definitely see it here.
I don't know. I've been spamming misfortune and solo queue. I prefer the Yomu's rush. A little bit old fashioned, but I like that lethality misfortune play. You can really shred the enemy team, and it works surprisingly well into tanks if you can get a full cast of the ulti off.
Yeah.
I do believe BT is good, but that's my own personal preference. It's been working for me in solo queue.
Mid lanes. I mean, again, I'd like to see the Aurora. I'm a Yone. I would love to see a Yone in any game I watch or any game I play. Top lane wise, I want to see a heavy skirmish matchup. I would love to see something like Camille Mundo or a Gwen into something with a lot of fighting power, and a lot of solo kill power. And I'm just excited to see how these teams play. How Ego has has bounced back from their first week loss after their bye week. See how they prepared for this game against now third place in Warden, and I'm really excited to see what these players can do.
Yeah. I don't know. I did actually cast a couple of Warden games in week 1, and I was surprised there was a Seraphine carry in there, and that was just quite doing work. So I'd love to see that again in maybe this game, but who knows? Might have been a team specific thing, but Seraphine positioning just amazing. So much fun to watch, hitting those 4 or 5 man ultis, just charming the entire team. So we could see that, but we will see. Still trying to get draft wall set up. It looks like. Looks like which one? Akuma Shurikens is ready, but we're still waiting on Ego Nog to ready up in here. Trying to use Apex Esports. I don't even never even heard of it.
Nah, looks like a paint presentation, not gonna lie.
It kind of does. I'm looking at it too. What the heck is that thing in the middle? Looks almost like a Taurus or something.
Yeah,
A donut.
It's stretched, whatever it can be.
Yeah. Whatever the heck it is. Who knows? Do you see the Apex logo up at the top? Not sure why they would link that instead of the normal one that we use, which would be Pro Draft instead of Draft Wall. Apparently, RT Alka is still refreshing. Trying to get draft wall to work. It did take me about 10 refreshes to get into draft walls today, so we shall see. I don't know what time do we call it and say, let's just use pro draft. No more draft wall. Draft wall always sucks.
We just ban draft wall.
Yeah.
Why not?
At this point, right? We just need Soul to make a little bit better of a draft wall or a pro draft overlay for it. Soulkeeper says they got 2 minutes till this goes to pro draft, so we should be getting into draft soon.
You guys get to hear our yapping for another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Favorite skin in the game? What do you got?
Oh, that's a good question. I think. As I do, Misfortune's one of my favorite champions, so I've been playing a lot of Battle Bunny Misfortune recently. That's a great skin. But my personal favorite, though, you know what? It's probably in draft. We are into draft, but I'd say Pulsefire Caper. Final answer.
All right, first ban. Morgana. Morgana is a very strong jungle pick, especially still in these patches. She hasn't been touched since her recent buff. This champion's very strong. Heavy flex pick, can be played support, mid, jungle. I personally believe she's the best jungler on the patch, mixed in with Zyra and Ivern. And we're
Yep.
going to see Syndra ban.
Yep. Syndra makes a lot of sense too. Also a very strong mid laner right now. Just get rid of those meta picks and a Shyvana ban. That's another jungle focused ban. Looks like Akuma Shurikens, double jungle ban so far. Assuming that
Shyvana.
that is a Morgana jungle.
Yeah, that Shyvana pick, I mean, the Spear Shojin rush into full AP is it's ridiculous. It's running solo queue games. It's one-shotting people. It's got survivability. It's got everything.
It did
Jinx,
supposedly get nerfed on this patch, according to Riot, but who actually knows?
according to
Riot
Riot's
likes to say,
mid-brand.
yeah.
Speaking of
Riot
brand,
likes to say, yep. Two
some
patches in a row, brand's been nerfed, and I still don't believe it.
no.
I don't believe it.
But we also see the Leona ban come out from Ego. Leona, again, one of the stronger support champs on the patch. Really, only counter to Leona is the Renata, and the Renata is a hard champ to play in the support role. Followed by the Ezreal ban. You want to take away that pairing. You don't want to leave Ezreal with somebody who can lock somebody down, keep him still.
Yep.
Somebody can let him pump out that amount of damage. And we're going to see first picks ADCs Jinx into what it looks like a Zeri.
Yeah, pretty standard for the AE carry meta right now. Jinx has been strong for a long time, and Zeri just in this organized competitive play, Zeri is so strong. So I do expect them to lock this in. They are still hovering the Zeri, so not 100% sure on that one, but I do expect this to just be a Zeri pick here, and we'll see. Are they going to swap at 0? Nope, that is a Zeri ban, or Zeri pick. So, yep, just first picking the 80 carries here on the side of both Akuma and Agonog. So, Jinx versus Zeri looks like it's not going to be a crazy action-packed bot lane, unless we see like a Nautilus, maybe something. Maybe we'll see a Pike.
Expecting double.
Always possible.
Maybe a Seraphine.
Yeah, I'd expect a Seraphine.
Kindred comes out. I mean, Kindred, another strong, sneakily strong jungler on this patch. Exciting to watch. Definitely can make those plays. Definitely a part of that double ED carry type of meta that is running the game at the moment. Definitely can run it. Double 80 carry sort of fits in this comp of like usually the team who can perform better with it. It's usually pretty easy comp to go through, can just win the game. And we're getting a Sejuani as well. Sejuani, another super strong jungler, especially seeing it a lot of pro play and a lot of just high elo games in general.
It looks like Kuma's kind of hovering a few different champs. We saw the Wei, we saw the Azir, we saw the Ari, and now a LeBlanc, possibly. We shall see. The Galio, I think, makes a bit more sense. You already got Sejuani. You want that melee champion to pair with Sejuani, but never mind. They're just changing it up again. What shall it be? It is the Ari, which, in terms of mid lane mages, going down the tier list, Syndra's up there. Ari's basically right below her, so it does make sense to pick the Ari here. If the Syndra's already banned, might as well just go for the next best thing, right?
Oh, exactly. One champ that really is getting slept on the most is this Galio. This champion is not balanced. Did you know he has an interaction with PTA wpretty he procs it twice on his ground slam.
Huh.
He'll get 2 out of the 3 procs on one of his ground slams, and he's one of the faster champions at proccing PTA.
Interesting. I feel like I normally don't see PTA on Galio nowadays. Anyway.
I took it by accident and found that out.
I learned yesterday, apparently Aurora, Yon can just use his E and his ulti to get out of Aurora ulti. Learned that yesterday while casting, so that was new. Learned something new about Aurora, brand new champion. Not the only way to get out of it was Flash, but Yon has 2 ways to get out of it even.
No unstoppables.
Yep. And looks like that Mordekaiser band coming out. Figure Agonog, they're looking for top and support, so they're probably going to look to continue to pinch this top champion pool. And same thing from Akuma Shurikens, but they're focusing the supports. So taking out that Lulu, very strong combo with that Zeri. So I'm curious what they're going to round out these bands with. I imagine it'll be another top laner from the side of Agonog.
Yeah, looking at their recent bans, it definitely seems like Jinx does want to be paired with an Enchanter support as well. Maybe a Nautilus or a Leona, but allowing Akuma to come out, and we're going to see the Nautilus ban as well, to ban out the Enchanters from the Jinx, because you also don't want to give them to the Zeri, is sort of part of Ego's draft. It works out well. And we see the Braum ban. Braum, super strong. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Basically, if you're going for a tank support, like I said, same thing with Syndra Ari. Leona's the top. Braum's basically right underneath it. Braum a very strong support right now. And Zeri, I imagine, just does proc that Braum passive fairly quickly. So it does make sense. And it looks like it's going to be an Alistair coming out on the side of Egonog.
yeah, I mean, to round it out, I mean, Rel is the perfect answer to this Alistar. One of Alistar's hardest matchups, at least in the lane. You can definitely see Renata as well. It's hard to play these engaged champions like Galio, Alistar, especially with the double 80 carries that they are running. Renata would be able to tear through the entire team with just one well placed ult.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh, solid pick for whenever. And
Is it going to be the Tarek?
you see the
Looks
Tarek.
like not quite what I was expecting. Haven't been seeing Tarek too much nowadays, at least in solo queue. But does kind of make sense. You have that enchanter nature to help out the Jinx. You do have that stun and top lane. They're hovering in Gnar. Wouldn't be the most unheard of thing to see in Gnar in this game, but it's not what I'm expecting. I think the Renekton makes a lot more sense as a blind pick here, or the K'Sante. They are hovering the K'Sante as well, and it is the Renekton. Actually, a very strong blind pick, very strong top laner in this patch. So, not at all surprised to be seeing that Renekton at top lane here. So, I'm curious what Egonog's gonna respond with. I don't know the top lane matchups too well, but what's the traditional counter pick to the Renekton right now? I've always been told it was Quinn, but I don't think we'll see a Quinn.
I don't believe so. Ego wants a champion that can sustain and duel just as much as Renekton is. And that is just what Ego's going to actually find right here with the Gwen, rounding out
Yep.
their team comp.
Egonog, not Ego. Okay.
So
Egonog makes sense.
with Ego rounding out the comp, how do you feel? How do you feel about these two places?
I mean, like you said, the Egonog is that double 80 carry comp. You got a strong front line between the Galio, Alistair, and Gwen, and I feel like in that 1v1 in the side lanes, Renekton should have the advantage early. Like, Gwen will probably have the advantage in the mid to late game. Gwen is that hyperscaler, so I do believe Egonog is probably going to be looking for more of that split pushing comp and kind of more mid game power focused, or mid game power spike focused, and really going to be looking for that Gwen in the side lane. Going to be matching that Renekton. I think Renekton's going to have a bit of a hard time into the mid late game looking at that Gwen. And then on the side of Akuma Shurikens, it's a little bit more of like not 100%, but a bit more of a wombo combo comp. Very much, they have a lot of AOE, have a lot of pick potential. So I'm curious to see. Akuma Shurikens looks more like a pick comp to me here, so we'll have to see how they play it out. Pick comps are, well, I guess I'd say split push comps are a little bit harder to pilot than those pick comps, but we shall see. I personally, looking at both drafts, I think I would rather be on the side of Egonog, but that's just my personal opinion.
It's fair. Usually, at least these patches in, I find a lot of teams are more comfortable with this double 80 80
Hmm.
carry type comp, and it definitely shows. With it usually has a much higher win rate for comps, as whereas it's a lot easier to perform on. A little easier to stay a little safer. You don't really see the counter to these comps too much because you're not seeing a lot of assassins at this higher level.
Hmm.
And when you don't see those, these 80 carries get to really run free. You're not seeing these point and click type champions that can just end a life in a single click. But
Yeah.
Akuma also has that one of those comps where it's just fight, fight, fight for a long period of time, and they will not die. They will stay persistent. They will keep fighting. They will fight front to back without a problem because the amount of CC, the amount of slows, the stuns, and just the pure survivability from the side of Akuma. Renekton's survivability is through the roof. Tarek is probably one of the best picks on this patch right now because of that survivability. Ari gets her healing from her ultimate and her spells being cycled through. Sejuani, a huge amount of tanks, a lot of CC, a lot of slows, and Jinx being able to stand behind these three massive tanks / bruisers and Ari. It's going to be pretty much almost impossible to touch onto this Jinx unless Alistar can get a nice flash stun in, Galio can get a unsuspecting ult or a flash taunt, and Gwen can ravage the backline.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, like you're saying, definitely a lot of sustain, a lot of tank stats on the side of Akuma Shurikens, but we'll see. They definitely want to be looking for those front to back team fights, but I don't know if the side of Ego is ever going to be wanting those 5v5 team fights. You got the Gwen, she's going to be split pushing, got Kindred, definitely help out with that AoE damage, with that ulti, but right, Galio kind of gonna have a hard time getting onto that Jinx. Same thing with Alistair, but if the Zeri is able to get ahead in this game, she will be doing a lot of damage to that front line of Akuma Shurikens. And if she's able to get that shred off onto them, it could spell a bit of disaster for Akuma Shurikens. So we'll have to see. I think the Zeri is kind of what they want to pop off, at least in these 5v5 team fights, if they're ever looking for those 5v5 team fights. But I do believe that when we'll be looking for more of the split push, probably not going to be looking for too many 5v5 fights from the side of Ego Nog.
Yeah, and with that, go ahead and throw your predictions in the chat. They should be up by now, and we'll see you after the break. Thanks for joining us.
Relationships will often end in disgusting. I know you want my love, but there's nothing to discuss. I don't need you in my life no more. I don't need you in my life no more. I got no money, it's getting sunny, but I still feel cold. I've been nose running, you funny, you going it out. What? Not the time just to go around. What do you think is safe and sound? What? Might as well just burn it down. It's always when I'm inside my mind, I find it hard to bear. Cause it gets cold and blurry. Yeah, it gets cold and blurry. She took my heart and then discarded all the evidence. All of her actions were a clear case of malevolence. I got no money, it's getting sunny, but I still feel cold. I've been nose running, you funny,
Thought that you should know I've been going solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Free my signs, every time. Let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. I want. do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. I want. Hear me now. Watch me go. Lose control. Is this real? All I feel.
And welcome to the first game of week 3 for Warden. I'm excited to join you guys and in casting my first Warden game. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Excited to see a lot of exciting plays, a lot of great team fights, and it looks like we're just gonna start off with a basic 5-point.
Yeah. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much action going on here. I'm surprised to see the mid laners going mid. Normally don't see that in the 5-point. Normally the junglers go mid, but besides that, it's pretty standard 5 points. And we're thinking about this with the 80 carry nerfs. I wonder if the Zeri and or the Jinx are going to be changing up that build. You normally see the Jinx going Kraken Slayer first. You normally see Zeri going Static Shiv. And both those items got nerfed on this patch. So I'm curious if they're going to be changing up that build path or not here. But we will
Yeah,
have to
especially
see
with
on
the
that one.
Kraken, yeah, with the Kraken Slayer nerves hitting hard against range and you being almost primarily set for, I think, nerfing it by like 75% extra bonus damage is taken away from the item now.
I think it's down to 80% instead of 100%. So every third auto range characters do 80% damage instead of the
Which
max damage.
it's quite a lot of damage. It's a couple autos in a team fight. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to be seeing a different set of items this come around. Same thing with Static Shiv. I don't believe we're going to see it as much. But we're going to have to see. And I mean, these two teams to be successful, what do you expect them to say?
Well, you got the Zeri Alistair, probably a little bit stronger than that Jinx Taric here, and you do have that Galio ulti. So I expect we are seeing the jungler from the side of what we call it, Ego already starting top lane, gonna be pathing towards that bottom. So I expect him to be playing around that bot lane. You do have that Zeri Alistair, very decently strong lane, I should say. Zeri's not super strong early, but I'd say it's a little bit stronger than the Jinx Taric. So I want to see it at least on the side of Ego playing around that bot lane, hopefully getting a lead on that Zeri, using that Galio ult to look for that. And then on the side of Akuma Shurikens, I think I want to see that Sejuani really playing around that Renekton. Renekton's very strong early. You wanted him to be able to get that lead into the Gwen, or else he won't be able to match that Gwen split push in that late game, in the mid late game. So that's what I'm hoping to see out of the two teams. What do you think? What's your opinion?
We're gonna have to see a lot of team fights. Whoever can win the team fight first. I mean, obviously it's the name of the game, but we're seeing a trade here with the engage with the E taunt. Galio bringing this Ari down quite a bit, losing only a little bit of chunk of health. Now evening up. Sejuani looking maybe for a gank, but being spotted out on ward. But back to what I was saying, we're definitely gonna have to see a lot of peel come out for these 80 carries. Galio not really being too worried, doesn't really need to be worried about by this jungler in his lane. Galio, we're gonna see an engage by Alistar popping the knockup. Zeri getting a bit of damage on the stun coming out on the Taric. Taric with the ignite with the flash ticking down, got an 8th health, leveling up. He should be fine, but that's flash down for Taric. But we're gonna see another fight happening in the jungle. The knockup comes out, the taunt comes down, and we're gonna see first blood coming out to the Kindred. Simple as that. And that's what we're going to sort of have to see out of these two teams is who can take over these early game skirmishes. What scaling champ can get ahead first for the most part.
Yeah.
Again, Galio won't need much support from their jungler in this game. Galio against AP champions is usually a hard matchup for APs. So that gives Kindred the freedom to really go around and make their way into other lanes, soak up that pressure.
Yep, and like we do see in that bot lane, you saw that Taric had to burn his flash early. It's a bit of what I was mentioning. The Zeri Alistair a bit stronger in the early game than that Jinx Taric. So
I want to see a gank come out. The E dodging out the Sejuani Q seems to have missed, and that Galio is just going to be able to walk that one off, stay in lane for a little bit. We're seeing a bit of trading in the top lane. Gwen winning out on those trades early on. The true damage taking away pretty hard. But we're gonna see our first reset come out from mid.
Yep, Galio does have that TP to get back in the lane. He saw the wave's not in a very good spot for him right now, so he wants to just get that reset in, let it reset in, and let it just push back towards him. Maybe he can look for a freeze onto that Ori. Maybe Kindred will be able to get a gank in there. Kindred does have that first blood. That's going to help, and it does look like Kindred is already changing up the build path. Normally do see that Kraken Slayer first, but with the nerfs, it's got a Phage in his inventory now. Not 100% sure what that builds into, but maybe Black Cleaver?
Triforce, Black Cleaver. There'll be a
Yeah.
number of things. But with
Mhm.
again that Kraken Slayer not being an option for a lot of range characters anymore, we're definitely going to see a lot more innovation and optimization. I think this is the league, or no, Crusader, I believe, played on the patch first.
Yes.
We're going to see a little bit more innovation from the side with the ult coming out, with the Ignite, the Flash coming out from the Renekton, being able to survive that with the ult popped. But Flash gone for Renekton is going to be a little bit more dangerous, especially with this Kindred. Charm landing onto the Galio, a little bit poking here and there, but not too much.
Galio should be fine with that. Like you said, that Galio into those AP mages matchups, definitely a bit rough for the AP mages. So Galio should be able to just sustain. He'll get his shield back before too long. He's going to crash that wave into tower, and it looks like Kindred's actually starting to Drake here.
Yeah, we're going to see first Drake coming to the side of Ego. Hard to really answer with the early backs on Galio and I believe the Kindred with that Phage, so it's hard to really match it.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely see first Ocean Drag go to the side of Ego.
Yeah, and let's see what's going to be. It's going to be a Fire Drake, so we won't be seeing an Ocean or a Fire Soul this game. Little upset, little sad about the Fire Drake there. No Fire Soul. Everybody loves to see Infernal Soul. It's always exciting. Could be a Hextech Soul still. We don't know. We don't know. With the 6 Drake, with the 6 elementals now, it's definitely, see, there's a lot of options. We'll see here. It is kind of crazy to think that just that first blood, Kindred only has that 1 kill, but that first back difference, Sejuani was only, she does have her tier 2 boots now. She got on her second back, but all she had was boots and cloth armor versus the Phage into the Kindred. So Kindred does feel nice to get that. Ooh.
Smash comes out, big chunk of damage, but we're seeing an engage from the Alistar. Taric once again dipping down, half health, ult coming out. Zeri just melting through the Taric. Alistar only losing half his health, especially with that level up, and this is where that strong bot lane comes into play over that Jinx Taric. And we're gonna see another engage. The E taunt comes out, another smash. The Q coming out. Ari dipping down, quarter health, and we're seeing an invade from the Kindred as well, getting the smite off.
Yep, Renekton is rotating for that, but I do believe Kindred can just walk out of this, and he's just starting to grubbies now. Kindred having a lot of pressure in this early game against that Sejuani, which is surprising to see. Sejuani's usually pretty strong early in these matchups, but just the pressure of these lanes, like you mentioned, the Galio, holy cow, that Ari's at 10 HP. 200 HP on that Ari now. She's got to be really careful. The Kindred does have 6, could look for that dive after they're done with the grubs. But Taric is up top, getting a stun off onto the Kindred. So Akuma Shurikens do know that Kindred is on this, but does get one.
So denying all 3 grubs, but we are going to see a fight. The stun comes out on a Taric. Taric absolutely melted through. Sejuani dipping down to low health. Renekton having to pop his ult to dash through, and we might see a dive here. Alistar stunned up by the 6 being ticked over. The E missing the Renekton trying to walk out. Sejuani, the Ignite coming out, the stun coming out. Red just juggling tower so well, and just like that is a 5-0 game on the side of Ego.
Already 3K gold lead at 9 minutes. That was a very well played dive. Just really good heads up play. They knew their lanes had prio. They rotated up the Alistar a bit earlier than the Taric, and yeah, just really good play there from Ego. And now we're seeing Zeri get a little bit of damage out of the Jinx in that 1v1. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to anything. Taric is there to defend his AD carry now, but yeah, overall, really well played dive from Nog.
We're seeing that now this 2-0 Gwen finishing up this Riftmaker 9 minutes into the game is going to TP back in a lane, and Renekton's going to have a much harder time with this. Zeri popping the ult, looking to find herself a double kill. Taric not ticking over to 6 yet. She takes out the Taric, but the auto's coming out the barrier, dancing with the vision. Alistar stopping the Sejuani from interfering. Zeri's just going to walk out of it without a worry, dodging the W from the Jinx. And Zeri making it out with a 1v2 solo kill. I mean, Zeri now 2-0, gonna go back, finish the other half of her rapid fire cannon. That's what we're opting to see. We're seeing the Ignite coming out from the Alistar, taking out the Jinx. The Galio coming in, looking to find the Sejuani, hitting the taunt, maybe looking for another stun, and the Sejuani is just going to tick down, and there's nothing they can really seem to do. Maybe hope to get another dash, the stun comes out, and just like that, Alistar with a double kill.
Getting those bloodthirsty supports out, or yeah, bloodthirsty supports in this game. Not the worst, honestly. Not the worst character to have 2 kills on it. The Alistar. He's gonna get really tanky, and there's not gonna be a ton of tank shred coming out from the side of Akuma Shurikens right now. So it's actually gonna be decently hard to deal with that Alistar early game.
This Tarek,
And
still
Tarek
level
on top.
5, is going to find himself get caught out. Galio getting hit by the stun, but the flash comes out. Galio maybe looking to flash over. Not, but it's going to decide against it. The engage from the Renekton dipping down to half health, looking to find some more healing, but can't seem to get the extra damage out. And it just seems that desperation on the side of Akuma.
Mm-hmm. I already feel like the little difference, and Gwen's still going.
The ult comes out. The flash has to come out for the Renekton. Renekton getting hit by the five needles, opting to stay in lane, maybe to get shadowed by the Sejuani to make a play, but we're going to have to see.
Yeah, Sejuani's just there to make sure that the Renekton doesn't get dove, make sure he can free clear this wave under tower, but that Jinx is getting zoned off the tower bot lane with the Galio clearing the waves, Zeri's back, and I'm not sure it's rapid fire cannon. I do believe that is either Kraken Slayer or Static Shift that builds out of those components. I believe that is Kraken Slayer, if I remember right. But a little bit surprising to see after those nerfs. We shall see. Kindred did opt for the Triforce early. So.
We see the engage from the Kindred to stop the thing. We're going to see a fight top lane. And right back to bot lane. The ult comes out. The Alistar landing his stun on his knockup on Bolt. The TP coming into the bot lane. Tarek is going to fall before he can get his ultimate. And it looks like they're going to turn their tail towards the Ahri to maybe catch her out, maybe find the taunt. Sejuani trying to find their way. The stun landing on top of the Zeri. Zeri shut down, getting hit by the Sejuani. Galio ticking down, getting auto-attacked, trying to give the kill over to the Jinx. The Jinx finding her way, getting that kill, looking to now find the charm. Sailing far to the right. Alistar walking out just fine, and Akuma find themselves too. But at what cost?
It does look like they're going to lose all 3 grubbies here, which doesn't feel good, but it's also not the end of the world. It is a very scaling objective on the side of Ego Nog. So it is nice. It is only 5 grubs. They didn't get that 1 grub early, so they're not going to be getting the double void spawns, the double void mites in these pushes. But that's going to feel really nice on that Gwen when you're in the side lane, matching that Renekton to have those 5 void grubs. And it's like Kindred. Did Kindred? Yeah, Kindred got the blue buff.
Kindred's going to be able to just take another blue buff away from the Sejuani. Sejuani finding her way into the blue side, maybe to gain some of those camps back. Kindred ahead 52 CS in this matchup.
Yeah.
Drowning the Sejuani.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it feels bad as the Sejuani in this matchup, of course. Kindred is very good at killing these tanks in that Sejuani and that Renekton, who will be getting decently tanky, but the Renekton got the first item, Maw Mount Mortius. He is building for that matchup through and through. He knows he's going to be matching this Gwen in the side lane, and hopefully going to be trying to get a little bit more survivability, but I do expect Gwen still going to be winning these trades against the Renekton. Like, look at that damage. Renekton did almost nothing with that stun onto the Gwen, and looking for a dive.
Popping his ult, the Galio coming in to maybe stun the Renekton. Renekton just getting knocked up, taunted, and all around, there's nothing. There's nothing for Akuma can do on this. I'm losing my words, but I mean, just such a simple dive, a lot of CC, a lot of damage coming out on the side of Ego, and we're going to see a dive on the other side of the map. The Zeri finding the ultimate. Tarek looking to make sure that they don't die, and just like that, another dive on the other side of the map, taking out the Zeri.
Yep. But you do see
the objective onto the side of Akuma's.
Yeah, I was about to mention. Ego is still getting that objective on the other side of the map. Very good macro play there. Recognize, hey, they're committing 3 people bot lane to dive this Zeri. Let's get that Rift Herald. And There's nothing really else to do. There's no objectives on the bot side of the map. Sejuani did take a bot side jungle off of the Kindred, but Kindred's over here now taking his top side. And
And it
the
looks
next
like
one,
this spot turret
Mhm.
is going to fall to the Jinx and the Taric. Jinx getting a little bit extra gold in her pocket. Did complete that IE, might look to complete her boots or move on to her next item. Auto's coming out. Zeri might find herself in trouble. The stun ult hitting. Zeri dipping away, be able to get over the wall at just 10 HP. And just like that, Zeri is able to just barely survive.
Zeri is a very slippery champion, as we've all seen before. Getting that jump over the wall, but yeah, living with 10 HP, that has to feel bad. They committed so much. The Sejuani ultimate, the Jinx ult was up in like 2 seconds. I think they could have, if the Jinx ult was up there, that Zeri was dead 100%. But fortunately, just timing off by just a little bit, and the Zeri does escape with her life. But we do see, like I mentioned, the Gwen is now matching that Renekton in the top lane, and looks like Kindred's actually taking Sejuani's bot side jungle now. Gonna pop the Rift Herald mid lane. And yeah, I'm curious that this the Zeri did still end up going static shift first.
Yeah, with this Jinx, and we're gonna see an engage from the Alistar, maybe hit the Taric, trying to burn down this tower. The tower does fall. Kindred just able to kite away, not looking to find any more remorse, trying not to get this Jinx excited. The flash coming out from the Renekton. Zeri popping the ult. Renekton ult coming down super low. Sejuani's first to fall. Then comes Renekton. Then goes Taric. The dash missing onto Sejuani. Sejuani ticking down. Ahri finally finding her way into the fight. Kindred ult is going to come out to heal out this side of Ego. And we're going to see I believe, a 1-for-2 trade.
Taric did end up falling there. Oh, fight's
Ahri's
still going on.
going to find herself caught out. The Gwen looking to maybe find the rest of this fight, but not trying to overextend, trying to keep the lead that they got, and they're going to move over to the Cloud Drake.
Yep, that should be third Drake actually over to the side of Ego Nog. So didn't look like a crazy fight in favor, but because of those low health bars, it does mean Ego Nog is able to just get the inside track on this Drake and get that stacking, get that soul point Drake. It is only going to be a Cloud Drake, but you do get that ultimate ability haste. That's going to be really nice on the Zeri, the Galio, the Kindred, a lot of these strong team fighting ultimates that they do have on Ego Nogs. So if they are able to get that Cloud Soul, it will feel really nice on the side of Ego Nog.
Yeah,
And
especially
Zeri
with
just kind of stopping Jinx's back.
Yeah, especially with that Zeri ult. I mean, popping a Zeri ult with Cloud has got to feel like you're unstoppable. Honestly, you shouldn't be able to get hit by anything in a team fight.
Mm-hmm. And with so many really skill shots on the side of Akuma Shurikens, like that Sejuani has to land her ultimate. The Ahri basically has nothing but skill shots if you don't count her ult and or W, but mostly reliant on skill shots. But yeah, that Zeri should be able to kind of dance around these team fights with that extra move speed from the ultimate, the extra move speed from the Cloud Soul if they're able to get it. So it'll feel really nice on that Zeri. Clearing out vision. Kindred is looking for that blue buff again. Going, hey, I've been taking your blue buffs all game. This is the first one you're allowed. I'm letting you have this one, Sejuani, and it's only because your Renekton's there helping you with it.
Oh yeah, exactly. But
When back in that side lane, Renekton might look for a trade here.
No objectives on the board. We might see this game slow down a little bit. Might see a skirmish here and there, but really should be no threat of an ace or a team fight until Baron comes up in the next couple minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a casual 6,000 gold lead in favor of Ego Nog right now. So definitely good. I personally think that Ego Nog probably has the better scaling comp. So it's really nice to have that 6,000 gold lead this early in the game on the comp that does scale so very well.
A little bit of
just gonna walk away.
2-2 through this. Taric might find himself caught out, but able to run away, just simple.
Yep. And Sejuani might be looking for an ult angle here. She is sitting in the brush. I believe she did sweep that brush, so that, they don't have vision. But
You see that Ahri just ult away.
Yep. And Zeri might be caught out now.
In the mid lane, trying to pop that ult, but just burned away. The stuns and the CCs too much, and that extra damage from the Jinx is starting to hurt. that Runan's finished up, and Zeri falls once again. Another overextension.
Mhm. That seems to be the common theme from this area, this game. She likes to be in a solo lane. She wants that solo lane XP, but that is the downside of being in the solo lane by yourself. Getting that solo lane XP is that it's very easy for the enemy team to just commit 3 people, especially as an AD carry, to just run you down. So Zeri died so very quickly. Sejuani ult did not hit, but it kind of doesn't matter when you got a Taric and Jinx there to kind of murder her face.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, team's just catching the waves. Ego, sort of trying to get vision and posture around this Baron, looking to claim this Kindred stack at 20 minutes into the game.
Let's get a check on how many Kindred stacks she's up to. Click on. It's not letting me click on Kindred, but
that's a lot. If it's Baron at 20 minutes, she's at quite a bit.
already 9 stacks.
Yeah.
At 20 minutes into the game, so that's pretty good for the Kindred there. You do see she does have that mark onto the Sejuani right now, and also looking for a trade.
But nothing really going to come out of it. The 2 tanky members of the team are going to just duke it out, get tickled by the rest of the team.
Yeah, the classic wet noodle fight between the 2 tanks.
Yeah.
Give it enough time, they might, do like a quarter of each other's health bars. It's possible.
Coming out, landing on the Renekton and the Taric. Taric's help dipping away, having to pop that ult, that knockup from the Alistar, landing on 3. Galio going to continue. The ult from the Zeri coming out. And the first to fall is going to be the Alistar. The Renekton finds themselves on top of the Zeri. Zeri dipping away, having to flash away. Gwen TPing into the fight is going to look to clean it up. That ultimate, huge damage on the side of the Gwen. Jinx able to claim 1 back, but that is going to be a Baron on the side of Ego.
Yeah, and if you look at the map, you'll see that the Drake is spawning in less than a minute too. So I would not be at all surprised to find out that Ego gets this Baron buff and collects Soul. This huge team fight in the favor of Ego Nog there. Like I mentioned, they do have that scaling comp. You got that Gwen, she hyper scales. She does so much damage in these team fights. Zeri, she's at her strongest point in the game right now, basically. Zeri gets super strong in the mid game. You did see she had to flash out of there in that team fight, but she was able to do so much AoE damage to the side of Akuma Shurikens. And we do see Ego Nog is starting up this Drake. Akuma Shurikens does have an inkling. It does look like they're walking over. They pull the Drake out of the pit. Smart decision there. And that Galio is super tanky. Those Jinx rockets aren't even touching him. And there goes Soul.
And with that, no contestation on the side of... we're going to see a fight start up afterwards. The Taric's going to get 1 shot, not be able to pop their ult. The Alistar just able to walk out. TP coming in from the Renekton. Renekton behind, trying to find the Alistar. Misses the stun. The taunt lands. The charm. And it's just as simple as that, as quick as it started. It is an ace on the side of Ego, and it is a 20-6, 10k gold deficit. And Ego are going to look to just end it here.
Yeah, they might not have enough time to end the game, but this is definitely a strong push. They're going to be able to at least get 1 inhibitor here. They don't quite have the wave set up in the side lanes to get multiple, but you're right, they might be able to end the game. They do have 10 seconds here. Zeri does push tower fairly quickly. Same with that Gwen.
And just like that, this game is just going to find itself end. And Ego taking game 1 in the series. Strong showing from this team. Huge bounce back after their first week.
Huge. Like you said, very strong showing. They had that scaling team comp. They were able to play those team fights really well. Got every single Drake. Got 5 out of 6 grubs. And it just felt like they were just overall just more on point than Akuma Shurikens tonight in this first game. So what do you think Akuma Shurikens needs to do going into game 2 that hopefully be able to take us to a game 3?
You got to learn how to deal with these double AD carry comps, especially with the amount of the peel on the side of Ego. I mean, running that Alistar, that Galio, it's almost impossible to try to get through. You have to only play front to back, but you're trying to play front to back against a team with a double AD carry comp. It's almost impossible to do because you're just going to get shredded by that point. The early game was kind of a disaster on the side of Akuma getting caught out, finding themselves Zeri finding herself getting getting solo kills in a 1v2, allowing this Alistar to walk all over the map. Galio in an easy enough matchup doesn't need jungle support to save him, and Gwen with their amazing early games trades in a matchup that really shouldn't be winning in the early game was won
Mhm.
pretty easily, and they just found themselves snowballing out of control to the point where maybe a pick here or two from an overextension that was solved pretty quickly or was given an objective on the other side of the map. Um, it's hard to, you got to sort of learn how to deal, or you got to draft around it. I mean, this sort of looks like a very well-rounded draft diff from the side of Ego.
Yeah, I think Ego definitely had the upper hand in that draft and just executed their team comp a little bit better. They had those lanes, like you said, the Gwen shouldn't really win that hard early into the Renekton. Gwen's a scaling champion, Renekton's a strong early game lane bully, and Gwen didn't seem like a counter pick at all in that Renekton. Renekton was having a hard time, was forced to build that Maw Mortius first, so didn't really have the damage to be able to deal with that Gwen in lane. More of a defensive build there. So let's see. What do you think Akuma needs to change in draft? Because we did mention drafting. Ego Nog kind of outdrafted them in a sense. So, what do we expect to see? I'd still love to see the Aurora. Maybe we'll see that Aurora first pick, but we'll have to see.
Maybe a little bit more self-reliant lanes. Um, Especially when you see that, um, I mean, they threw a triple ban to the jungle side of things, and the Kindred still became unlocked. The champ pool from the side of Ego, I mean, just seems to be unmatched. So maybe try to throw other bans into other laners. Maybe give that little bit more comfort pick over. Um, Drafting maybe, that Galio's in the back pocket of this team. Maybe you got to run with a good old classic AP jungle 80 mid. Um, you got to expect your winning early game lanes to win. You can't really drop that prio because then it comes harder on the jungler. Sejuani falling like 70 to 100 CS down at that end of that part of that game, and it really comes on to the idea of what's the easier game for the jungler to play. I mean, Kindred was able to run free because their lanes, the lanes that weren't supposed to be winning were winning.
Yeah, you did mention I feel like the Galio might be a little bit of a counter pick into that Ari. Galio does have a good matchup into most AP mages. Gets that magic damage shield, is able to really sustain wave clear against a lot of these mages. So it feels like maybe if they want to pick another AP mid laner, if they're gonna early pick that Ari, maybe they do need to ban that Galio. Galio seemed like a threat. The Ari didn't have too much of a way to deal with it early game. And because, like you said, because that early prio, Kendra just kind of got to walk all over the map, do whatever she wanted, and Sejuani felt like was just falling behind, not falling behind, but just not almost crying in a way. Like, all my lanes are losing. What can I do? This Kindred keeps invading my jungle. I lose the 1v1. What can I do?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of where playing the jungle role kind of hurts sometimes because now you're stuck like hoping that something changes. But when a game snowballs out of control, there's nothing you can do as a jungler, especially playing a jungler like Sejuani.
Mhm.
Apologize.
Which is surprising. Sejuani is one of the stronger junglers on the patch right now, so we do see it a lot. We've been seeing it in a lot of games in the other leagues, so it is a bit surprising. I think last night in the Crusader games, might have, at least in the games that I spectated, I think it's watched Sejuani actually lost both games, but not 100% sure on that one. They had a Sejuani Aurora, I believe, combo in game one on the NLE side, and he just Yon kind of just popped off and destroyed everyone in that game one at least. See, I am refreshing the draft wall page. I am still looking at a gray screen. At least on the 500 internal. Never mind, 500 internal server error right there. As soon as I say something, but still refreshing the page, hoping to get into this draft wall soon. Hoping, as I say, as I stare at a white screen. You see my face light up. If my face ever stops lighting up, you know I'll get into the draft wall.
Or you're staring at a blank screen.
Yeah, one of the two. All right, well, it's taking a bit longer to refresh this time. Could be a good time. Okay, I'm looking at a gray screen this time. Let's see if the champions want to load. Let's see if we can actually see the draft. Good old draft wall. not quite as unreliable. Well, it's reliable in the fact that draft wall is always going to be down, but never going to be working. But I was going to say a little bit less reliable than Riot in that every time they have a patch, they're going to break something that they didn't teach in the patch.
Yeah.
Or I keep hoping that we don't go back to the days of the spectator client breaking every other day. That's what I'm hoping for.
You never know with this company.
Really don't. That's the only thing that you can rely on with Riot is that something's gonna break always.
Yep. But MVP of that series, what do you got?
MVP. I have to say it's the Kindred.
That game.
Honestly, yeah. Is it Aeolios? I'm not sure how you pronounce that name, but definitely the Kindred there. I think a very strong matchup there. Or Rogue Flicks. Oh, I got into the draft ball. We did it. We made it.
You got in. I got flashbang.
Soulkeeper saying they're making pro drafts. He can't get the draft wall to get up for perfection. I got my draft wall finally to work, so I only had to refresh it about 20 times. Simple 20 times. Just had to keep pressing F5 until it worked, but looks like we are taking a quick bathroom break. I do believe you need to hop down into the spectator lobby still. I'm not sure if Ego Nog is able to get in order with you there.
I mean, let me perform in the jungle. No.
It was Rogue Flicks, that is the name. Aeolios is the top laner. That is my mistake. It was Rogue Flicks that was the jungler there. But yeah, I'd say that was definitely the MVP of that game. The Kindred had a very strong early game, getting that first blood onto that Sejuani. Just like you said, 70 to 100 CS lead towards the end of the game. It looked like a very strong pick there. And I believe if Akuma Shurikens wants to throw that triple jungle ban out there, they might have to go for that Kindred now. We'll have to see on that one. You see, maybe they dropped the Shyvana, Morgana, maybe even the brand band for that Kindred band, but who knows? See, I think Soulkeeper is making pro draft now. That's what we're going for. Going
We
for pro
love our
draft now.
production team.
Yeah. Thanks, Soul. We appreciate you. Means I don't have to do it.
MVP.
It's always fun when you're the captain of the team on either side and you're like, all right, I'm just making the pro draft. I'm not waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
That's how I was. Let's Soul answer that one. He can answer the teams. Asking if we're using pro draft, and it does look like we're using pro draft. Soul can't get draft wall to load in OBS. Good. Love that. Love pro draft. Like I said, almost as reliable as Riot, where you can always rely on it to not work.
That is true.
Have to slow refresh many times. I did get the draft wall to work on my side, but whatever. It's not a big deal to me. We could use pro draft. It's just gonna block our faces on the stream, usually, unless Vishkara's got her pro draft overlay set up now, where it won't block our faces. We shall have to see. I'll be tabbed in there. Somebody's saying in chat, we want Seneca. Okay. Soulkeeper is clarifying in the lobby that we are in pro draft. That's what I like to see.
Let's see it, Aurora. Let's see it, Yone. Let me see these champions.
I do see we got a response from Vish. It is not done. The pro draft overlay is not done. So once this draft starts, we will not be getting to see our faces. And that's okay. Very self-conscious on my face anyway. Hey, I'm not trying to call out anything. It's only been like every week that pro draft hasn't been working since the start of this split. We're only 3 weeks in. At this rate, we might get it done by playoffs.
We love your production team.
Yes, we love you guys.
Oh, it's time to take a sip out of the big.
It does look like one team is ready. I don't know if we can see who's actually ready in the pro draft. It doesn't show the little line like it does in draft law, but from what I can tell, it looks like it is Ego Nog that is ready. So we're still waiting for Akuma Shurikens. I think somebody was going to use the bathroom, so waiting quick bio break from one of the players. We shall see. And yeah, I'm taking a sip of water too. What does that say? 1,000 true on the side of your water bottle.
That was a true damage from set. And we got our luck
Mm,
bars hitting the goalpost.
I like it. I like it. Meanwhile, I don't have anything that fancy. I just got a thermal flask here, like a off-brand hydro flask.
I got my Hamilton shot glass from when I went to go see Hamilton on Broadway.
Ooh, I love Hamilton. I didn't see that on Broadway, but I did see that in San Diego when it came here. I've seen it live. I've seen the Book of Mormon live a couple of times, and yeah, it was. I'm a big fan of Broadway shows, personally.
You can barely see them on stream, but my G2 jerseys are right there. There's my Worlds jersey for 2022 and my MSI jersey for 2021.
Ooh, nice. I like it.
So,
Someone touched the link. We'll have to remake. I swear we'll get into draft eventually, but for now, I guess we talk about jerseys, worlds. I tried to go last world I tried to go to was honestly season 3. That was in LA, and my friends in high school went, and I was so jealous I couldn't get a ticket myself.
I'll be going this year.
Really?
Yep. I planned on going to the LEC finals, but I thought different because the LEC kind of sucks to watch right now, and G2 is just going to win it, so it doesn't really matter. Not to be biased, but I do plan on going to Worlds this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Is Worlds being held in North America this year?
No, I think it is in Paris this year.
Oh, did they do that recently? I don't remember. It's been Europe before. But looks like we have remade the pro draft links. Production is ready. Just we're just vibing over here on the caster desk. I don't know what to say. Talking about worlds, talking about Hamilton. No, I have a Hamilton shirt somewhere around here and a Hamilton hat, but I don't know where they are at the moment. Probably in my dirty clothes.
Yeah, my mug's down there. My Hamilton book is right here.
Hmm.
This one's actually the just the script.
Oh, we are into draft. We've made it.
Instantly into the Cinder ban right away into the Kindred ban. Kindred, it's rapid
Yep.
fire. Cinder, Braum, Kindred. But the Kindred ban, the main cause of strife on the side of Akuma, finally getting rid of that spot, and Ego, I almost said Ego, like the waffle. You guys would flame me for
I
that, but Ego,
I would never have said that.
yeah, Ego, planning on to continue their same set of bans. Syndrome Braum has really strong, oppressive lane picks,
Yeah.
and Akuma going with the Kid Richabana.
Yeah, I mean, Ego did win that first game, so no real reason to change up the bans. I am curious what they're gonna first pick here. Will we see that Aurora? We did see it last night. Maybe we'll see it tonight. We'll have to see. And the Misfortune ban actually. So first pick Leona. I'm actually excited to see that. Leona very strong right now, very strong laner. Fortunately, the Misfortune that you do always love to pair with that Leona is banned, so we will not be seeing the Misfortune Leona. But Leona can be paired with a lot of different AD carries. Maybe Ego Nog will go with the Zeri again. Maybe they'll go with the Jinx actually, but we'll have to see.
I'm actually hoping and looking forward to see the Renata come out on the side of Akuma to answer to this Leona. Leona's main counter in lane really comes down to this, and we're seeing. I believe that's an Alistar for first pick that they accidentally put in for the Soraka.
Yeah, waiting on Pro Draft bugs out. If Pro Draft goes to 0 seconds, unlike in Draft Wall, it just gives you a random pick. So I do believe that Soraka it is Sivir Alistair
Very
is what I'm
Alistar.
seeing in chat. So it's a bit different, not going for that Jinx, instead going for a wave that does, or a 80 carry that does have a bit more wave clear. But now we see that Leona Zeri, another very strong lane into that Sivir Alistair. And we'll have to see. I personally like the or Zeri Leona a bit more. Like that's just such a strong lane, and we saw what Zeri was able to do even in that 1v2. And covering Viego inside of Ego Nog.
Looking to try to find another high damage jungler on the side of Ego, opting for the 80 carry in the first game, and now the heavy bruiser sustained damage from the Viego. Can definitely save a game when it comes down to if somebody gets way too ahead on the side of Akuma and Viego manages to stick on them and take them out. Viego is now the strongest player in the game. And Akuma going to try to find an answer against the high damage bruiser type build that Viego's running. Maybe we might see, we see
Ooh.
Zhao, another huge
Mhm.
damage sustained jungler.
Yeah, I like the Xin Zhao pick more than the Sejuani pick. I was wondering if they were going to do the Sejuani again here. I wasn't expecting it, but I do very much prefer that Xin Zhao into that Viego matchup. Xin Zhao, like you were mentioning, very strong early game jungler. He'll build that Eclipse, he'll have a lot of sustain. And let's see, though. Viego does have a lot of sustain as well. And if he starts to get one kill, starts getting those pop-offs, it's a lot like the Jinx, where you get those resets after you get one kill, and he can just go crazy in these team fights. We'll have to see if what's his name? Should probably check that. Rogueflix will be able to have as good of a performance on the Viego as he did in the Kindred game one. And there
Yeah,
is the Galio ban from the side of Akuma Shurikens. I
and a
do believe that
Galio
makes a lot of sense.
Galio being able to shut down a lot of comps, taking away that AP mid laner that Akuma might want to try to run.
Hmm.
Galio, hard to get past in general. You walk up, you're getting knocked up, you're getting stunned, and you're taking a lot of damage for accidentally walking up a little bit.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I imagine this is probably a mid lane pick from Akuma Shurikens here. Gonna save that top lane counter pick for last. And yep, it is the way. So another AP mage. There is no Galio to respond to it. So I'm curious what Ego Nog is gonna do here. They may just oh, there's no Galio to counter it or to counter, but maybe they'll go with an AD millionaire. Maybe we'll see an assassin. I'd like to see a Zed out come out here. That's always fun to watch.
Any champ that can burn Hui's flash, Hui struggling with a lot of and we're looking to maybe opt or an opt into this Ari, but any champ that can get this early flash out of the Hui, trying to lane without flash on this champion is very punishing and is very difficult, leaves you very vulnerable, and can lead to a lot of like lane losing matchups if you burn that flash way too early.
Yeah.
Ego again opting with that RE 6, very oppressive, looking to get around that wave, find the charm, get that extra damage out, and now looking for a top laner to round it out with the Dr. Mundo again, a very oppressive, sustainable top laner once again from Ego.
Hmm. And that's going to be the Camille, maybe, to counter into that Mundo. Let's see. Camille is very good at shredding tanks, is very good into the tank matchup. But we'll have to see. Mundo is just scales. It is the Camille there.
And this is exactly one of the matchups I wanted to see come out from these two teams before game one, and I'm happy to actually see it. I love Camille. Camille's one of my favorite top laners in the game. Um, she's super exciting to watch, and especially with again another high action skirmishing top laner like Mundo, who can pump out a lot of damage over time. I'm excited to see these two go at it throughout lane. Hopefully, we're not going to see a snooze fest out of the complete farming. But comps, what are you thinking? Who's got the edge on
uh,
this?
I think this is another case. Ego Nog has the scaling comp, I believe. You got that Zeri, it's going to scale very well. You have Ari, becomes very high damage threat. The Mundo is going to become so tanky in the late game. But you do have a really strong early game comp from Akuma with that Xin Zhao. You have that Camille who will be able to hopefully match that Mundo. Camille is very good into those tanks. But we'll have to see. Mundo scales really well, is incredibly hard to kill. And Sivir, unfortunately, does have a lot of AoE damage, but I'm not sure Sivir's going to have the DPS to be able to take care of this front line of Ego Nog. The Leona, Viego, Mundo are really hard to kill. And even with those Kraken Slayer nerfs, that's one of the ones you normally see first coming out of that Sivir. I believe it's going to be really hard. But Akuma Shurikens has lanes with Prio, I believe. Camille will probably be able to push out that Mundo, have the wave clear to match it. Wei has a lot of wave clear there. So with that Xin Zhao, I do believe they should be able to have a good early game. So Akuma's going to have to get that early game, really lead early game, and hopefully be able to push that and end the game quickly because Egonog scaling is quite a bit better than Akuma's, I believe. So I'm going to give the edge to Egonog because I believe they're going to be able to execute their comp a little bit better. And as long as they survive until 2 to 3 items on their Zeri and Mundo, I think it's going to be really hard for Akuma Shurikens to actually shut them down.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate both comps. I'm not exactly a Sivir lover, but she is a good champ as the game goes later on. Zeri, another great champ as the game goes later on. I think it's really going to come down to who can engage better out of these two teams. Who can find that sneaky, like if Ari can find that sneaky charm, maybe grab somebody in the fight very early on. Viego looking for the angles to maybe get onto the back line. Leona be able to land those clutch ultimates into her E's, into her stuns, allowing these carries to just free hit. Could mean the world for Ego, and then Akuma on the same side. If Camille can find an angle onto the angle with her E and her R, it could definitely turn a fight in an instant. Alistar, same thing with the flash stuns, can come in and just end a fight instantly. Xin Zhao being able to sustain in and out. I mean, both these comps look very good on paper. Just I think it really comes down to like last game, who can play that early game better and who can stop the overextensions from happening.
Yeah. Like I said, personally, I give the edge to Ego Nog's comp here, and predictions are live. So be sure to get your predictions in before this game starts. And we should be taking a break fairly quickly. We are just getting through the draft, and we'll be waiting on that spectator delay. So we shall see. I'm excited to see this one. Like I said, I do believe Akuma Shurikens has a much better early game comp this time. They actually, for their early game jungler, they have lanes with priority. So hopefully they won't lose every Drake early like they did last game. But here's hoping.
Here is to hoping. And with that, we are going to head out to our break. Thank you for joining us for week 3 of Warden. And I'm excited to see you guys show back up for game 2. Thank you for joining us.
I'm feeling of things to lose hope. Every year I'm still going. I am even stronger now. Evil is lurking around you. And maybe I'm mistaken. You know I'm feeling alright.
Welcome to game 2 of our 3-game series. Ego up 1-0, now on blue side. Looking for another 5-point. Maybe Ari looking to find a little bit of poke damage to this Xin Zhao. Never know. Probably could try to land a Q, maybe a charm, could turn a fight, turn the game in an instant, but hey, who knows?
Yeah, turn the game at level 1 with that level 1 charm start on the Ari. Just to get a bit of poke damage onto the Xin Zhao.
Hey, let's just run the game right away. The Q is going to land, and that is a mental edge on the side of Ego.
Oh yeah. You see that end line climb, definitely get a tilt there. Already mental booming, getting hit by one briefcase already off that corporate Mundo skin. It's not cleavers anymore. It's now briefcases that we're throwing around. And we were mentioning it in the load screen, but that is the $500 Ari skin on the mid laner from Ego Nog here. So definitely playing the mental game here. It feels like really with that skin. Right
Hey,
from load screen. Wait, Ari flashed. I missed that.
Ari did indeed flash. I apologize for not calling that because I was too busy looking at my pork chop. Ari flashed.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a mental edge, mental flash.
Yep. Playing that mental game early. She started her W, which is interesting to me. Normally when I play Ari, I start the Q, but that's just me. I'm not a mid laner, so I don't know what the proper start is. Maybe she wanted that flash W, get a little poke onto the Xin Zhao, make him a little less healthy on his first buff, but the Leona root does land, but Alistair just knocks her away.
Yeah, looking to see a farm fest type of game,
Yeah.
I'd love to see heavy skirmishes, but hey, the comps that we go into, we want to scale. Ari, Wei, they want to farm out, keep ping pong and waves. Mundo, Camille, do all they can. Looking to capitalize on that level 2 from the Camille, maybe chunk out the Mundo. Mundo having to flash away from the stun. We see the Ignite get hit onto the Leona. The autos are coming out. The Q does land, but Leona, an eighth of our health away, and more skirmishing in the mid lane. As I said something about just sitting back and scaling, Ego taking quite a few bad trades across the map.
Yeah. Leona did lose about 75% of her HP. Mundo about the same against this Camille. Camille's 3, Mundo's still level 2.
With the solo kill directly under the turret, only taking one turret shot, and just like that, first blood to the side of Akuma.
Yeah. You did mention it in the pregame, that Camille is very strong into those tanks. Mundo will eventually become a really strong frontline threat. It's going to become unkillable, but he's not quite there yet. Doesn't have that Warmongers and yeah. Bad trades, losing trades all around on the side of Ego here. So definitely mention that they have the what should we call it? Akuma Shurikens does have the much stronger lanes in the early game. Sivir has a lot more wave clear than this Zeri. Alistair's a bit stronger, at least the first 3 levels than the Leona, but level 3 Leona will be very strong. We shall see if she's able to get on top of that Sivir. Sivir does have the spell shield now, so it's going to be a little bit tougher for the Leona to look for anything, especially with the Alistair there, just to knock away the Leona if she ever hits that E. And we see Xin Zhao is pathing bot side. He's taking the scuttle. He's going to walk into the tri-brush. Egonog does have the tri-brush warded. Sivir spell shield down, but not too much there. I don't think Xin Zhao's going to be able to get anything. He is on a ward, backing on a ward there, so don't believe he's going to be able to get anything done in this bot lane right now. And Viego now looking like he's going for the top lane scuttle crab, maybe pathing towards the top side. Maybe going to look to relieve some of that pressure in top lane.
Ari is going to miss the charm into the way. Viego looking to maybe see the opportunity. Camille going to be fighting in a larger wave, missing the cannon. Landing the E away, the stun does land, but Camille able to get away just fine.
Yep. Just trades back and forth all around. Viego did get the stun onto the Camille there, but Camille did land the hook shot, able to get away from here. And so far, little bit of a scrappy early game from both teams. That Camille is getting that poke down onto the Mundo, getting the hook shot. Camille will get that magic damage shield. Not gonna lose too much health for that. And Ari, okay, not backing. I saw her on the minimap, started to back, but doesn't look like she's actually going to finish it. Going to stay in this lane into the Wei, but very low on mana compared to the Wei right now. And Wei just landing those combos, getting that poke down onto that heart.
Yeah, I mean, trades are definitely the name of the game with these lanes. You shouldn't really be expecting high kill opportunities in this lane. And as I say that, we see a flash E coming out, the charm landing onto the Wei burning away. Leona actually taking the kill away from both of the carries. Alistar coming in with the knock-up Sivir with the autos. Leona trying to zone them off. The stun coming out into the Alistar. Xin Zhao joining the fight now. Leona dipping down. Alistar dipping down. Another auto goes to Sivir. And Sivir ending up at the winning part of that trade with the kill going to Leona and the kill going to the Sivir. I believe Akuma make it out better in that 1-for-1 trade.
Oh yeah, 100%. You always would want that kill onto your AD carry more, and the big difference there really being that Akuma rotated their AD carry up towards that mid lane fight, while the Zeri on the side of Egonog just.
We're gonna see the O come out. The burn taking away from the Mundo. Mundo trying to get away, looking for that hook shot one last time, not finding it. Mundo making it away. Looking like they're going to try to fight for Drag, but Drag at half health, maybe looking to back away, not try to take this 4v4 with the Ari in the mid lane. Not really something you can contest. And Akuma going to find first Drake of the game. Once again, an Ocean Drake. Wei, no Ari, no mana on the Ari. The R is going to hit. Looking for the solo kill, the W, and with the flash gone from the Ari, Wei able to set up that kill beautifully. Ari falling down in what seems like an overextension, low health, no mana.
Yep. Did not quite have the mana there to get that ulti out, and good look on Wei to recognize that Ari is super low on mana, looking for that back. She was looking to get the lane pushed out and look to back there maybe. She doesn't have TP up, so she would not TP back to lane, but very good look by the Wei there. Very well mechanically played to land that combo and get the damage onto the Ari there as well. And yeah, bot lane, a little bit of a farm fest down here, and I'm surprised with that rotate up towards mid lane. Sivir's still tied in CS with the Zeri.
The knock-up, Xin Zhao making their way to the bot lane. The W is going to land onto the Alistar. The Zerial coming down. Xin Zhao tipping away, landing the flash, knocking up the Leona and the Zeri. Zeri continuing the fight, looking to find the kill onto the Alistar, but can't seem to find it, flashing the W, and Sivir and Alistar are going to find their way out. Zeri claiming a kill onto the Xin Zhao, while this Viego's taking advantage, claiming the top side of Xin Zhao's camps. And Ego not ready to go down without a fight in this early game, as bringing it now 2-4.
Yeah, I did mention that Ego needs to be, not Ego, what should we call it? Akuma Shurikens does need to be kind of the aggressor here. They have that stronger early game fight, and the crazy part is that was the Xin Zhao ganking bot lane. and it ended in a 1-for-1 trade. They were outnumbered there, but the key difference being there, Zeri was sick. Zeri was getting that soul in XP while the bot lane of Akuma Shurikens was rotating towards mid lane. So Zeri was able to hit 6 first, got a massive ultimate in that team fight. Unfortunately, did not get that Alistar. It was very close, but yeah, that was a trade. That trade of kills for both sides. Both kills go on to the 80 carries, which is exactly what you want to see. It looks like Sivir is actually building that Essence Reaver first. So we did talk about normally we have been seeing either the Static Shiv or the Kraken Slayer first on the Sivir, and looks like she's going for that Essence Reaver now with those changes.
Mundo taking a lot of damage. The Ignite coming almost up for Camille. Camille with her ultimate as well. All she needs to do is land a hook shot, and the spell shield's gone, and the R will come out. It could be a very dangerous situation for Mundo. Mundo realizing this, playing a little bit more passive. Charm does land onto the way, maybe looking for some extra damage, but not opting to throw the Q.
And we do see the Alistars actually rotating up towards top lane here. Recognize the Mundo's low. Mundo pops ult.
The Mundo is also going to flash as well, so that is both the ultimate and the flash out for the Mundo. Xin Zhao also hovering towards top side, maybe to clear out this control ward, and Alistar getting the flash out. Very good play.
Yep. Definitely a very good play there. Good play, recognizing that Mundo was low. He doesn't really have the opportunity to walk up towards the wave. Looks like Mundo will stick around. The ulti did heal him back up to full, or pretty close to it, so he's going to just try and catch this wave under tower. And so you're going to get only a 15 CS differential, surprisingly, in the top lane. But in the jungle, that massive CS lead that we saw in the last game, it's definitely not quite as high this game. There's a little bit of a CS lead.
Zeri and the Leona spell shield coming out to stop the E and the sidestep from the Sivir right away. Yeah, looking to try to find a stun as he clears the vision, but Sivir just going to walk out. 2 ults gone for the side of Ego.
Yeah.
Maybe looking for a dive here.
Yeah, Viego is scrapping a little bit with that Alistar, but Xin Zhao is here.
The flash coming out. Viego taking away from the Ignite will fall to the Xin Zhao. Leona looking to fall in the same way, stuck in the onslaught of 4 members of Akuma's, and that is 2 kills onto the side of Akuma.
Yeah, a little bit of
a lead to 3-0.
Little bit of an overextension there on the side of Ego Nog, as their namesake suggests. Maybe a little bit of an ego play there. They're looking for that dive, but you saw Wei had the rotation there early. The Xin Zhao was there. Xin Zhao a little bit of a stronger scrapper, a skirmisher than that Viego. And Xin Zhao already has that Sundered Sky done on that back. So it's going to be real spooky for Ego Nog to try and look for any of these early game fights now. You do have that Zeri, who is 1-0, and I believe that is another Static Shiv rush from the Zeri. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Basically what I'm expecting now, even despite the nerfs to Static Shiv and Kraken Slayer, I think it is still a Static Shiv rush. I believe the Static Shiv isn't too bad. It just costs 100 more gold in the early game, so not quite as cheap as it used to be, but still a very good item for champions that want that wave clear, like the Zeri. And we'll see. Sivir does have her Essence Reaver completed at this point, though, so that is going to be a lot of damage, and Sivir's biggest weakness is mana, and now it's not going to be a problem anymore. She has that Essence Reaver done now.
Looks like we are going to trade Dragon for Grubs. There's now 2 Dragons for the side of Akuma and Ego, opting for these Grubs, creating all 6 Grubs. Definitely see how it plays out later in the game, whether the Dragon stacking will be worth it over the 6 Grubs. But we're going to have to see as the game starts to slow down. Oh, and we are going to get a pause. It looks like support's having tech issues.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The support on the side of Ego Nog, I believe. Because it is, they did mention, looks like RT Alpha's having some issues. I didn't notice anything when I was looking bot lane, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's not something I would have seen in the Spectator client, who knows. But yeah, so far, really strong early game from the side of Akuma Shurikens. We'll have to see. Like I did mention before the game, Ego Nog does have a very strong scaling comp. So if they're able to weather out the storm of that Xin Zhao early game of this Sivir having 3-0, she has Essence Reaver. She won't be going Kraken Slayer. So at least not early. We'll have to see. Like I said, Sivir's single target DPS. She does have a lot of AoE with those crits, but the single target DPS, I don't know if she'll be able to take down that Mundo, especially if she doesn't have Kraken Slayer. So we shall have to see. I do believe if Egonog is able to weather out the storm of this early game, I think they have the better team fighting comp with the Zeri, the Ari, the Mundo, and definitely scales a bit better. Mundo, as the game goes on, the matchup into Camille should get better and better. And did my client just freeze?
My
My
client.
game freeze?
I think I think it's going through the pause. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah. Still waiting out a little bit. Game is frozen. But yeah, like I said, I do believe Egonog will have the better scaling comp here as long as they're able to weather out this early game against that Xin Zhao, the Camille, that way. So we shall see. As long as Akuma Shurikens has the lead right now, but it's not quite as big as a lead as we were seeing in
Right
last game for
away,
Egonog.
looking, and we see gank topside as well. Camille able to walk away. Ari barely walking away with a little bit of health, and in the span of 5 seconds that we got the stream back, we almost lost the lives of the Ari. Xin Zhao getting stunned up, the double knockup coming out. Xin Zhao maybe looking for something new, but not able to really connect as well. Hui taking the third shot, landing the root into the extra bit of damage. Ari coming back. Yona hitting the E. What, the knockout coming from the All-Star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Xin Zhao, a lot of scrapping happening actually there right as we came back from that pause. So kind of surprised me a little bit. But yeah, we see the Zeri does get her static shift done. So I guess slight gold advantage in favor of the Zeri. She does have her tier 2 boots, but Sivir is going to be able to back and finish those tier 2 boots and probably get another component. Curious what it's going to be next. Ooh, and we got a gank coming out topside.
Land the stun is going to land onto the Camille. The Camille dipping away, getting the physical health shield. Viego landing, taking a turret shot. Camille just able to hook shot right away, not really needing a flash to get her out of anything. Again, opting to take that ignite TP, but Camille dodging another gank. That is now 3 ganks, I believe she's dodging the Viego without an issue.
Yeah.
Still up 15 CS. Doesn't seem like Viego is doing too much to stop this Camille, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, we shall have to see on that one. But yeah, the Mundo really just wanting to farm.
Just come out the flash, knockup trying to land, the charm landing onto the Alistar. Alistar's help dipping away. The ignite isn't come out. The ult popping for the Ari. Ari looking to get that reset. Zeri finding the kill in the Alistar. And this is maybe looking like a herald to the side of Ego.
Yeah. You see a little bit of a difference from the early game where Akuma Shurikens did rotate both their bot lane up for like play mid lane. Now Egonog's rotating both their bot laners up to go for this Rift Herald play. And unfortunately for Egonog, Akuma Shurikens does get that first tower in the bot lane because Sivir's she pushes waves so fast, she spreads turrets pretty quickly, maybe not as fast as the Jinx, but still pretty quick. And she will be threatening this tier 2 here. And it's tough to say. I'm not sure if she gets it on this wave, but it's going to take a lot of damage.
A lot of damage coming out from the Sivir. Taking 2/3 of the tower. I mean, Ego looking to respond with a top turret of their own, the Demolish, Herald combo, and 6 scrubs. It's going to be easy enough to take. Not able to really contest that. Looking to maybe get a second charge to make up for the damage done to the tier 2 in the bot side. But we're looking Zeri claiming solo XP once more. Same thing with the Sivir, both sitting at level 10.
Yep. Looks like they will get that charge. I don't think it's going to fall, but Camille is sitting in that bush.
The knockup coming out, landing the W stuck into the Camille ult. Viego's health dwindling away. We're seeing a fight into the mid lane. Way falling to the Zeri as well. Viego able to make his way out. The stun's coming out in the top lane, but that's another one trade, kill trade on the side of Ego. Ego claiming another life in the mid lane. Way falling once more. Now 1 and 2. Zeri making her way back. Now almost even with the Sivir at the 3-0.
Mm-hmm. They are both 3-0. Sivir, I guess, slight advantage to Sivir. She does have that 1 assist. But I don't think you're going to care about that on the side of Egonog at this point. You have that Zeri who is 3-0, had a huge impact in that last game with their team fights. Ari is going to take that bot tower there. And Zeri has her, I guess she's going for the same build, Static Shiv into Runans. That's what we see most commonly from the Zeris nowadays. But Egonog is resetting their jungler and bot lane. I'm guessing they're going to be setting up for this Drake. You don't want to be giving that slow point, especially with your Zeri as strong as she is. She will have ulti up for that Drake fight. So I do believe Egonog is going to try and contest this Drake. Don't want to get that Drake scaling. And I was going to talk about too, it is a Chemtech soul this game, which actually both teams would really want here. As tanky is, well, I think it'll be much stronger on Egonog's side. They have such a strong front line between the Leona, the Mundo, and they're not actually going to go for the Drake. What should we call it?
Ult his way out, maybe to try. He's gonna have to flash to get rid of the knockup. After getting the ignite out of the Camille, and the drag is gonna go onto the side of Ego with no response from Akuma.
Yeah,
Ego,
I mean the response there was to try and chase down the Mundo, but Mundo's Mundo. He has that Warmog stun. He will sustain. Just gonna back and walk back to tower, throwing those briefcases at the Sivir. But it looks like Akuma is gonna be looking for the dive onto the Mundo. TP's coming in. That will be the Ahri.
Ahri finding the TP, looking to maybe claim one, falling to the Camille, getting burned down instantly by the 3 carries onto the side of Akuma, and Akuma finding 2 in the top side as well as a turret. Ego trying to answer with this mid turret. Zeri maybe finding herself out, but able to E over the wall just fine.
Yeah. Very safe for the Zeri there. Unfortunately, not quite enough damage to get that tier 1 mid lane, but at the end of the day, we are now 2 towers to 2 towers, 4 kills to 8 kills in favor of Akuma Shurikens, and this is definitely looking like a much closer game than that game 1 that we watched. Of course, this is Akuma Shurikens never had a gold lead in that game 1, and yeah, Egonog definitely not as dominant in the early game with that Viego instead of the Kindred, that Mundo, that scaling top laner versus the Gwen, who apparently destroys Renekton top. I had no idea. I guess I don't know top matchups, but yeah, definitely looking much better in the early game on the side of Akuma Shurikens. And that's what I was going to say was probably the IE coming out of that Sivir as her second item. That is going to be quite a bit of DPS with that AD or with that Essence Reaver and IE. But she's getting a Zeal item. I think it's going to be Rapid Fire Cannon, if I'm correct. I think Zeal only builds into Rapid Fire and Runans, so you don't normally see Runans on Sivir. But she is probably going to have to be the one to buy Heal Cut for this Mundo in the mid to late game. Somebody's going to have to. I don't think it's going to be the way early, at least with the way he's building. He does have the Seraph's Embrace done. It looks like he's building for the Leandri's next. So Wei will be doing quite a bit of DPS damage over time, but we shall see. I don't know if it's going to be enough to deal with that Mundo. Leandri's doesn't do too much damage to the Mundo.
Flash come over from the Viego. No, landing on the Xin Zhao, pushing away. Leona finding herself stuck. Maybe Camille can try to find one. Leona finding herself knocked up once more. And Leona gonna fall to the Sivir. Ahri trying to maybe turn. Misses every ability known to man. And the flashes are coming out. The extra damage from the Wei, the poke, as Ego's health bars are slowly dwindling. But Wei getting hit by the Q. Only champion not so healthy, but can sit in the back without just a worry. And that is going to be another 1-for-0 trade on the side of Akuma.
Yeah, but Zeri does have the wave clear here. I don't think Akuma is going to be able to siege down this mid-tier 1. That Zeri with the static shift Runans is going to be able to clear the waves quite quickly, and that is another kill onto the Sivir on the side of Akuma Shurikens. That Sivir is 5-0 at this point, kind of making me eat my words, doing so much damage. I did mention Sivir does do a lot of AoE damage. At Essence Reaver, the IE is going to be a lot of DPS at this point, a lot of AD, a lot of crit chance. And for those that don't know, Sivir's W, if it crits on the first hit, every bounce after it will also be a crit. It does a little bit less damage than the initial hit, but it will still be a crit, which is affected by crit multipliers.
Almost trying to find the solo kill in the 1-for-2. Sivir doing an insane amount of damage per auto attack. This is a game we did not want to accelerate from the side of Ego, and she is accelerated.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's Sivir, like I was mentioning, doing so much damage right now.
Getting knocked up. The knockup and the ultimate coming on onto the Ahri. Ahri slowly finding her way with the dashes. Alistar moving a little too far into the thing. Same thing with the Xin Zhao, and the Xin Zhao and the Alistar are going to fall. It's going to come at the cost of a tower, but Ego claiming the 1-for-2, losing a tower in the process, but they
Definitely
might be
showing signs of life from Ego. They are
they might
not
be
going to just
losing this
sit
fight.
back and let them hard win this game. Mundo does get that spell shield popped by the hook shot, but is he going to care? Mundo actually taking a surprisingly large amount of damage there. That surprised me a bit. I wasn't expecting him to drop so low, but he does have that Warmogs. He will just heal back up rather quickly, I imagine. And now Ego actually has the inside track on this Drake. Not quite spawned yet, but Zeri does have the ultimate up if they want to look for that team fight in preparation for that Drake. We know Ego does not want to give that soul point over to the side of Akuma Shurikens, but Ego's there. Zeri not in the best position here. Camille's gonna be looking. Hookshot hits the Leona.
The Zinzao trying to find a knockback onto the Mundo can't really finish that third auto. Again, like you said, the Camille trying to look for that back line. It's going to have to hit the Leona, but Leona taking a chunk of damage in the way. Looking to try to walk back into the river. They can't not afford to give Soul Point over to Akuma at the moment, and this might be a game-deciding fight. The Dragon dipping down 5, 4, 3K, 2K, and it doesn't look like Akuma are going to contest, or it doesn't look like Ego is going to contest, and it's going to be Soul Point on the side of Akuma.
Yep. You'd see Ari kind of look for the little bit of a steal there with her Q, but not quite enough damage. Didn't quite outsmite that Zinzao there, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I guess with the Zeri half health, they didn't want to risk that fight. Didn't want to risk giving up that shutdown that is on that Zeri right now. And yeah, it's a little soul point over to the side of Akuma Shurikens, and I think it's crazy. It's only a couple of kills that the Sivir's up, but if you look at the gold difference, that Sivir has almost 2,000 gold up on the Zeri right now. So that Sivir is a massive threat to the side of Ego Nog.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
if they can get a pick,
from the fights and taking towers and this all the solo XP and solo gold that this Sever was able to build up, it definitely starts adding after even just a couple of kills, the 3 assists adding in. Now getting that third item that very coming out. Leona finding herself caught out once again, looking to find this kill, bumping her away from the first one, the flash coming out from the Alistar, but missing. And Leona is going to ping pong her way all the way back to her team, somehow making it out alive from that situation. Leona is broken.
yeah, I think she hit 3 blast cones to get back to her team safely there. And now Ego is actually looking for a pick onto that Zinzao. Will the Zinzao fall?
Zinzao dipping down, the Daryl claiming the TP from behind. Looks like the entire team is going to try to turn. Camille going to try to get away, popping the ultimate, looking for the blast cone, can't find it. And that might just be a. I mean, as the health bars go down, I'm not sure Ego can turn this into a Baron, but they just might try.
I think they can. The only one who's low is Leona.
Yeah, I mean,
Leona's at full health. Diego has 75% HP. Zeri doesn't really care. Zeri's not going to get hit by this Baron, really.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, the Leona with Warmogs as well. I mean, they can turn this bit into a Baron just as easily. I don't see. I mean, with that wave ult missing, the opportunity for this team fight seems to be dwindling. Alistar dipping down to a third health. Ari getting taken down by the Sivir. Sivir looking to find another kill, chasing after the Mundo. One more auto, that's a double kill on the side of Sivir. Sivir continuing, trying to look for that triple. Leona missing. Maybe Leona can try to trade for a 1. That Ignite ticking away. Maybe can find it. Alistar living with 1 health, and that is a triple kill for Sivir. Akuma trading. I mean, trading those 3 kills all the way back.
Man, silver lining there. Ego Nog did get the Baron.
That is very true. I mean, a Baron on the side of Diego and the Zeri, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I mean,
no.
The
gold 2 Baron buffs
keeps building and building. I mean, 2.5, almost 3K now. And, I mean, we see what the answer to Akuma's 2 fights can be. Maybe they can try to look for a pick, but they have to stop this Drake that's going to be spawning in the next 2
minutes. Yeah, you're right. Ego Nog definitely has to fight for this Drake. They don't want that Chemtech Soul going over to this side of Akuma Shurikens. They do have those 2 Baron buffs. Unfortunately, Ari did fall early on in that fight, and that kind of surprised me. Ari has so much mobility, but those Sivir auto attacks are really hurting at this stage of the game with those 3 items coming out. Looks like Sivir is going for that Mortal Reminder to make sure that Mundo isn't able to just heal his entire health bar when he hits R. But yeah, that's Sivir really just popping off right now. 8-0, just 3.5 items done at this point versus the Zeri 4-0. Both AD carries deathless, but Sivir being good half an item, almost a full item up on that Zeri. I do think Zeri, it's hard to say. Zeri does scale well, but so does the Sivir. The Sivir does so much AoE damage. Like, Sivir's perfectly happy to just sit in the back, hit the front line, let her W bounce over onto the back line of Akuma, Ego Nog, sorry. I keep getting the team's names mixed up, but Leona ult onto the Alistar.
He does connect. The Alistar not taking a lot of damage. Can't really find it. The Sivir joining the fight now at 3 items. The TP is going to come in from the Ahri, who is 10 feet away. Mundo going to find herself there. I mean, trying to walk out. Xin can't seem to find it, but that is going to be a kill traded over on the side. Sivir almost untouched. Leona is the only thing there. The cleanse coming out, and it's just nothing that Ego can do. And this is going to be a top tower from the side of Akuma as well. Camille taking that top tower, not even a part of that fight. Sivir, 4 items with heal cut, and there's nothing that Ego can seem to do, and it seems like this game is nearing its absolute end.
I can agree with that one. They do have to deal with the Baron minions as they try to end the game. Zeri being the only one with Baron buff left after that Baron call. But yeah, that's Sivir doing so much damage with those 4 items. Those crits after her W were just... I couldn't believe it. Zeri lost like 80% of her health bar in like 2 seconds in that fight. And I think it was just to Sivir Ws.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Akuma's going to try to get the double herald, but with the respawn timers coming up, Camille having to retreat. Looks like Kuma's going to opt in to go for the soul immediately, probably starting it up as soon as the Xin Zhao gets there. And with soul going to the side of Akuma, it just seems like checkmate. I'm not sure what Ego can do to try to find themselves back into this game.
Yeah, especially with that Chemtech soul, the Zeri's just not doing quite enough damage, and the Zeri's kind of their only damage threat in this comp at this point. The Ahri's 1-5, not really doing enough damage to take out the front line. So, and I don't think the Zeri at this stage in the game has enough damage to deal with that Chemtech soul. And you see Sivir there, 300 CS at 29 minutes, over 10 CS per minute on both of these 80 carries right now.
Yeah, both the 80 carries playing absolutely out of their mind, trying to carry their teams to a series win or a game 3. But it just seems like the Sivir just wants it more, trying to take it to game 3, wanting to keep their 3rd place spot, maybe move up in the ranks, who knows. Kuma not willing to give up on the series.
Definitely not. Yeah, after a rough game 1, and Leona's looking for a 1v1 versus the Camille. Just getting a little bit of poke damage out, I guess. Trying to scare her off, let Zeri freeform a little bit more into the spot lane. Is Xin Zhao going to find Viego? Viego's going to have to invis away. And yeah, looks like he's just going to walk out there, continue with his back. But Akuma Shurikens is looking like they're 3-man in this bot lane here. They want that last inhib tower down. But what do you think? How would you say that Ego Nog can win this?
I mean, at this point in the game, you either have to take it until everybody's at full items, but even then, that's as the game goes on and on with the double items falling at 30 minutes, it seems genuinely impossible to try to do. I mean, Sivir just about to hit. I mean, completing that BF sword is as strong as she's going to get until she gets her next item.
Yeah.
I mean, one more team fight and this game's over. Ego having to find a miracle play to keep this game alive. With that E connecting onto the Alistar, Leona stuck behind the team. Leona having to flash away. Zeri ulting into behind. Nothing you can do.
Sivir goes down. Sivir goes down. That's huge.
And it looks like this might be the miracle play that they need. The TP coming in from the Camille. Camille maybe trying to save this play. The Leona falling. Viego finding the double kill, getting the stun up onto the Camille. And just as I said it, the charm also lands onto the Xin Zhao and looks like this is going to be an ace on the side of Ego. And like I said, a miracle needs to happen. God has come down to Summoner's Rift and saved Ego's series.
And if God is playing the champion of Zeri, then yes. Caught me off guard a little bit in that team fight. The Zeri hopped over the wall, hit a couple of abilities on that Sivir, then she just lost 80% of her HP right there. that was a big part of what happened in that team fight, and that Diego was able to just get on top of the Zeri, and Diego loves when there's an enemy carry that's fed because he's just going to take over the soul and be like, all right, your items are mine now. Now I do all the DPS that you're doing to my team, I do it to yours.
Zeri wanting to go home after 2 games. Maybe has a hot date tonight. Who knows? I mean, and just like that, this game is no, it is dead even. Ego
Yeah.
bringing themselves back, and I mean,
Zeri with that
bad.
just that massive team fight play from Zeri. You saw she hopped over the wall, hit the ulti onto the Sivir. I think she hit a W2, and it was able to do so much damage to the Sivir. Then the Viego just able to come in and just finish her off. And yeah, Baron over to the side of Ego Nog now. It's not gonna. I don't know how much they're gonna be able to get off of it. They still have to deal with 2 waves of super mains. But the Baron buff is going to help them defend, and it's now looking like not Ego Nog favored. They are still down Chemtech Soul, but this Elder Drake that's going to be spawning soon, they have to look for the team fight for it. But they are not out of this game yet for sure.
It feels so bad as a team to lose Baron, but have super minions crashing into the enemy's base because that's just free gold and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean,
Yep.
Mundo at this point in the game finding himself unbelievably tanky, able to just walk it off, maybe take a couple hits, and then you just can't catch him. The Warmog's doing the job. Maybe looking to find a team fight at the bottom part. The ult coming out from the Zinzao. Viego trying to land the stun, landing onto the Sivir. Free autoing, maybe trying to find the kill. The shutdown going out. And there's going to be 3 kills on the side of Akuma. Akuma shrugging off the lost team fight, playing it how they should. Maybe trying to find the end of this game. Mundo, full health, looking to try to find Sivir cutting through auto after auto. The charm landing onto the Alistar. Alistar is going to fall. And it looks like this game is just about to end right here. Akuma saying, who cares if you win a team fight? Who cares if you push this game a couple more? We're just going to win the next team fight and win the game, and we are going to a game 3.
Yes, we are. And very well played there from the side of Akuma Shuriken. He has to be the MVP for the game, but 1. Looking at these damage charts, I'm going to say that's the Sivir for this game, too.
Oh, yeah, it's not even close. I mean, Sivir getting caught out once in that entire game led to a lost team fight. Making that adjustment in the next team fight and just completely cutting through the entire team the entire time of the game. It was almost impossible for Ego to find their way to that Sivir. I mean, with well-timed spell shields and fast reactions, Sivir just was able to do whatever she wanted when she wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we had a Mundo in the game, but I mean, Sivir goes where she pleases.
I guess so. Yeah, and that Sivir with that Alistar just to help heal for her. I feel like maybe Ego Nog needs to change up their bans. Maybe they need to ban that Sivir.
Maybe
It's entirely possible at this point, going into game 3. But it is a bit hard to say. We'll have to see how the draft shakes out when we get into it. Hopefully, we don't have another 15-minute break between the drafts, between game and draft, but we shall see. But at this point, yeah, just a really, really well played game there from the side of Akuma Shurikens. That Sivir just kind of popping off. Did not care about the Zeri Leona at all. And like I said, I like the draft of Akuma Shurikens a lot more that game. They drafted more priority lanes. They drafted an early game jungler that could have a lot of larger impact early game, and maybe that's a Juani. And yeah, it felt like Egonog just really didn't have an answer for that Sivir and for the snowball effect that happened.
Yeah, I mean, as the game went on, it looked hopeless on the side of Ego. Ego pulling out a great comeback team fight, acing without a single loss. I mean, Ego.
They did lose 1. They lost the Leona in that
They did
ace.
lose Leona, that is true. But I mean, it's a Leona.
Yeah, no, right.
Turn that into a Baron, sadly losing the next team fight to cut the game into a game 3. But I mean, impeccable effort from Ego trying to bring that game back from what looked like from just absolute depths.
Yep. So we'll have to see going into draft from game 3. What do you think the teams need to change? Like it was a great draft from the side of Akuma Shurikens. That Sivir was a massive play, just a massive first pick there on R1 and R2 with that Sivir Alistair. So what do we think Ego needs to change up in this game 3 here now?
If they're gonna let the Sivir go through, they need to find a set of picks that need to keep up with a consistent set of CC. Sivir opting that game to, I believe, taking that cleanse as well as her spell shield. That's two cleanses, that's two sets of CC, and I believe, I mean, if Viego not able to really find the Sivir in that team fight, the only sets of consistent CC onto the Sivir was the Leona E into Leona Q or Leona E, Q, and R, and most of the time that R didn't hit because of the movement speed from the Sivir.
And the Alistair does not make that easy too. You hit that
Oh,
E, Alistair's just gonna knock you away and knock you up. It's very hard for the Leona ever to get into that team, right? Or ever to get on top of that Sivir.
exactly. And I personally believe that this Ari pick is useless. I don't believe this champion is good, and I believe there are much better picks for this champion, and it just hasn't worked out. Both games we've seen in Ari, and I believe uh, production, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Ari has a negative win rate in the LXC at the moment. Teams not being able to find the magic on this champion.
But yeah, that
It
Ari
might just be me
definitely.
spreading misinformation, but from my personal experience, I've only seen one Ari game one in the LXC so far, and I won it. So
Yeah, that Ari definitely not having as much of an impact as maybe it's been having in pro play.
20% win rate in Warden. Yeah, so this Ari
That's
pick being a sort of
kind
pick
of a
that
non-factor.
isn't the greatest. Caden can't
Yeah,
find his way to spectate and is trying to live out the glory days of being an amateur player.
we shall
Oh,
see if draft wall is going to work for this game 3. Are we going to get draft wall for game 3? Oh, it loaded in first try for me. Holy cow! I was not expecting that.
it works. All the scrims are done for the night.
Right? Everybody's done. Everybody's done using draft wall for the night. It's starting to get a little bit late on the East Coast, so I do understand. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast, so yeah, maybe
It is
all those East
indeed.
Coast players are done with their scrims now.
It
Draft
is
wall's
indeed.
actually working for one.
Oh, there we go. We finally made it.
We found it. We made room in the spectate lobby, and hopefully we'll be getting into draft any minute now. Both teams are in order now. It looks like so. Hopefully, we will be getting into this draft wall soon. Draft wall actually seems to be working for once. I was not expecting it to work on the first try. I really wasn't.
That means you guys get to see our beautiful faces for a second draft of the night.
It's true. It's true.
So let me take a sip of my small glass of water.
I'm out of my LaCroix, so I have to go back to my water now. What do we think? Akuma Shurikens, that first game, they went for that. They went for that first pick Jinx, and I'm not sure they're going to be going for that again. I do think that Ayonog may have to ban the Sivir this game 3. The Sivir had a massive impact in that game too, and I do believe Akuma Shurikens will be more than willing to first pick it on blue side.
I mean, it didn't seem to have an answer for it in that game. And I mean, Sivir being able to just run away and deny all forms of CC just made it that much easier. And then as that game got accelerated further and further, I mean, Sivir, 3 items at 22 minutes into that game, it's almost unstoppable at that point. I mean, it
Mhm.
was unstoppable. First death came in the last or in the second to last team fight of the game. So I mean, you have to ban it unless you have an answer to it, and it does not seem like Ego has an answer to it at the moment.
Yeah, the Zeri was definitely not the answer to it, as it turns out. Zeri Leona definitely not. Definitely loves Leona matchup. We are getting into draft. The first ban from Akuma Shurikens will be that Kindred. Kindred a little bit too strong in that first game, so keep Kindred out. I 100% agree with that ban. And Ego Nog, there's the Zipper ban. There's the second ban. Almost juked us out a little bit, but they do ban out the Sivir and the Zeri ban actually coming out from the side of Akuma Shurikens. So we're going to be seeing a different 80 carry from Ego Nog in this game 3. So we shall have to see. And Viego actually first picked on the side of Akuma Shurikens.
Uma looking to opt into that Viego they saw from last game, maybe liked what they saw. Looking to say, hey, We saw you play this champ. We can play it better. Looking to see what they pair. Maybe most likely looking for this AP mid laner. Ego, this Galio is available. And if you know that this other side is looking to find the AP picks as well, might as well take it away. And I mean the brand jungle. It looks like brand jungle onto the side of Ego. This champ, not balanced. Riot, hot fix this champion. Fairy dust is dumb. And I lied. It looks like we're not seeing a brand jungle. We get the Hecarim pick immediately after. I'm gonna eat my words.
Will we see it? Is that a brand bot lane? Maybe the AP carry in the bot lane? Possible, but I think it's more than likely that is a brand mid lane there, but not 100% sure. Akuma Shurikens did ban out the brand for the first 2 games of the night, so Ego Nog going, hey, you gonna ban out my brand the first 2 games? You leave it up, I'm taking it. And Akuma Shurikens actually possibly opting into that Leona pick that Ego Nog wanted that first game.
And like, if this Oriana is picked, like the pick that I'm screaming to grab from the side of Ego is this Galio. I mean, you stop the engage completely. Oriana, it's such an easy lane for the Galio to deal with, despite being a range versus melee matchup. There's nothing the Viego or Leona will be able to do in the team fights, and the ability to just save your team with one click of a button. I mean, looking into grabbing the Braum, but I mean, if they don't grab the Galio here, I believe Akuma just bans it on
Yeah.
on R or on blue B4 B5. I mean, this may be screen brand going mid lane instead of into the bot lane, like you said. But
yeah,
man, Galio just seems like such a huge pick on the side of Ego.
Yeah, I definitely would have gone for the Galio here if I were them. Because the thing about that brand, I was talking about it with one of my friends the other day. Brand is the only champion that's like a quad pentaflex. Brand can go into any lane, any role right now. You can play Brand top, jungle, mid, AP carry, or support. So I'm not a huge fan of the Braum pickup here because it kind of gives away that your Brand is not going to be support. Brand is a very strong support laner right now, good jungler, good mid laner, all around. It could be played in 5 roles. So it could still be the Brand AP carry, but I don't think they're going to be taking that in the bot lane with the Braum. So it kind of does get rid of some of that flexibility of the Brand. Who knows? Maybe Ego Nog's going to be spicy, send that Hecarim top, and the Brand's still going to jungle. We don't know. It's possible.
The Camille ban, I mean, Ego could be opting to find themselves playing that Cassante. Maybe we might see a sneaky Garen find its way through. Akuma banning the Ashe. This champion is unbelievably strong for how little brain power you actually have to put into it. And the Jinx finding their ban as well. I mean, Ashe, the less brain cells and the less brain power you use to play, the more damage you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This champ's not hard to play. My first time.
I'd just like to point out there are 5 80 carries bans in this game right now. You got the Sivir, Ezreal, Jinx, Ashe, and Zeri. It's a total of 580 carry bans. So I'm curious, and it is the Kaisa actually. I'm surprised we haven't seen it earlier tonight. The Kaisa is a very strong 80 carry right now, and I am going to be curious what Akuma Shurikens is going to do to kind of to counter that Kaisa. It could be the Aphelios. Don't think it will be. I think the Kaisa is a little bit stronger than the Aphelios right now. Kaisa's actually, I think it's just fallen out of popularity at solo queue just a little bit to Ezreal, but the Kaisa for a few passes was the most popular champion in solo queue.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Kaisa being a pick that you can flex like 2 or 3 different builds on is huge for team comps. I mean, looking at, with the brand and the Hecarim, I mean, she can go either AP or AD here and be a problem. I mean, and Akuma opting in for that Zaya, and looking to maybe bring that Mundo, like pretty much saying like, hey, we can play these champs better than you. We are going to take them.
But they are picking the Mundo up when there is still a Gwen on the table. We saw Ego Nog was happy to play that Gwen game 1. And is it going to be an Aatrox? Aatrox seems a little strange to me.
Forgive me if I'm getting my matchups wrong, but I mean, Renekton just seems like such a huge pick into the Mundo.
I
Renekton
believe so.
has such a easy time into Mundo. I mean, opting for the Aatrox is good. Champ's still very strong. And we're just going to switch right over to the Yorick. All right.
You know what? I like the Yorick pick here, honestly. Yorick's very strong in a 1v1. His early game is really strong. He's going to be able to split push basically just all game. I actually don't mind that Yorick pick there.
This is the second Yorick on stream, I believe. This champ being surprisingly popular for the stream. I've seen this
Yeah.
champ a little bit too much, and I don't know how I feel about it because it's Yorick, and I hate Yorick.
It is very annoying to play against in solo queue, I'll tell you that. Yorick, you're like, oh yeah, we just won a team fight, and Yorick's at our inhibitor. How did that happen?
Yeah.
We left him alone for 2 minutes, and now he's at our inhib. So York can be a very annoying champion in solo queue, but in more organized play, we are in Diamond Plus here. So I wonder if that York's going to be able to have that same split push impact that it does in solo queue. We will have to see on that one, but York definitely being a massive split pushing threat, I think we'll be able to match that Mundo in a 1v1. Maybe not have quite the dominance that the Camille had, but the York should be able to deal with the Mundo fairly easily. And if Mundo ever TPs out of that lane, gives York a little bit of time, York is going to take all of your towers.
I mean, yeah, Yorick just such an oppressive pick. I don't know how it does into higher elo. I know this champ has been strong for a very long time with its lethality build. I mean, you get solo killed once and you just die to everything else in the game. He takes a tower, he kills you with minions. He takes a tower, he kills you with minions. It's just an endless cycle of pain.
Yeah.
But draft wise, what are you thinking? Who do you think's got the edge here in our final game
Ugh.
of the night?
That's actually a tough one. Because I do believe, looking at the bot lanes, I would give the edge to the Kai'Sa Braum lane on the side of Ego Nog. Kai'Sa's really strong early game. Braum is also really strong. That Leona kind of needs to get those first 3 levels. Same with the Xayah, or else they won't really be able to do much into them. I personally prefer the Hecarim pick into the Viego, and we all know how strong Brand is. So I think I have to give the edge once again to Ego Nog, but we'll have to see because Akuma Shurikens does kind of have a wombo combo team fighting comp, and I think they do scale better than Ego Nog. So it's a little bit of a reverse from the last 2 games. Ego Nog is kind of picking the scaling team comps. Now we see Akuma Shurikens playing that scaling team comp. But so I think if Ego Nog can get that early game lead with that Hecarim, with that Brand, with the Kai'Sa Braum, I give the edge to Ego. But if Akuma Shurikens are able to play out the lanes, play them safe, and are able to scale, I think Akuma Shurikens can win the team fights.
I mean, yeah. Again, I believe this is it is. It's a pretty obvious statement, but I think it's really going to come down to who can play these team fights better, who can get access to these AD carries, because they seem to be the ones who can turn a team fight. But predictions are up in chat. Go ahead and spend your points. I have lost every single one of my points once again today. Yes, I mean, Soulkeeper's eating good tonight. I will see you guys at the start of Game 3. Thank you for joining us. I'm excited to see how the series ends.
The last will be gone, existing forever within our souls. So do even know, as life will go on, a day will become just nothing at all. Just nothing, just nothing, just nothing, just nothing at all. Nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all. A day will become just nothing at all. I've seen enough things to lose hope, and here I am still growing. I am even stronger now.
Oh, and welcome to the final game of this series, the final match. Win all, lose all, and we're gonna see how this goes. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Two great teams duking out in two amazing games. Looking to five
First,
stack his bot side, but not really much happening. Braum laughing in their faces, as Braum likes to do, and I mean, what are you thinking, Prados? What do we got?
well, I think I touched on it a little bit early game or before the game during draft, but I think the early game definitely in favor of which side is blue? Blue's Ego Nog, I believe, right? Double check. Getting the names, getting the teams mixed up. Yes, blue side is Akuma, red side is Ego Nog. That's what I meant to say. I was thinking it, but I think I misspoke. But I give the early game to Ego or to red side here to Ego Nog. I believe with the Braum Kaisa, definitely a little bit of a stronger early game than that Zaya Leona. Oriana's a bit of a scaling champion, and we know how strong Brand is right now. Scales really well, does a lot of damage early game. Right, says they nerfed him, but I still don't believe it. Never believed it in my life. 2 patches in a row, he doesn't feel any weaker. But that
And we are
Hecarim,
We are also seeing the pay-to-win brand skin in the middle lane, this cryogen skin. You cannot see the abilities on it, and it's kind of dumb.
Oh,
So-
love that. Love that. I thought that was the zombie brand skin. Is it also that one?
That is also one of them too, but cryogen is a little harder to see because it'll blend in more with the river, and especially with the colors of the game. You'll see as the abilities fly, it's a little hard to see his abilities. So a
That's
little
good. Love to see
BM,
that.
but we love a little competitive advantage every now and we see some trades. The stun comes out, looking to find the kill, and just like that, the flash comes out from the Leona, and it is first blood to the Braum. A huge overstep from the Leona.
Yeah. Like I said, that Kaisa Braum, a very strong game, a very strong lane early. Braum hits that Q, and Kaisa's just able to get a lot of damage off of it with the stacking auto attacks. Leona having to flash late and still ends up going down to the ignited Braum. So, just first blood over to the side of Egonog. I don't know what else to say at this point. Braum,
I mean,
very good
Kaya
shield back
almost
there.
falling exactly that stun, almost claiming the life, and Kaisa almost finding herself a kill as well. Ego coming with a very strong bot lane in immediately. Yorick continuing to hit those pesky minions. I mean, as annoying as that ability can be as well, we're seeing a lot of trading on the opposite sides of the map. I mean, as the mid lane stays a farm fest, I mean, Ego looks like they're going to come out swinging.
Oh, yeah. I did mention it. Well, I'm a bot lane player. That Kaisa Braum just a very, very strong lane, especially early. I'm a bit surprised to see that the Kaisa went for PTA instead of Halo Blades. I do love the Halo Blades. Whenever you have a Braum as your support, you can just stack his passive so insanely quickly if he ever lands that Q. Looks like Leona maybe getting a bit of a roam up towards mid lane, but the Kaisa is here.
Having to flash over the large wall over to his red side. I mean, there's another sum on the side of Akuma. Well, I mean, it's just Braum without his sums, but it's Braum. He doesn't need them. He has enough dashes as is, and Ignite has like no cooldown. I mean, the aggression coming from Ego just seems unparalleled, and it's only 4 minutes into the game.
Braum did take that Hex Flash too, so really doesn't feel that bad to not have your flash up on the Braum. Like, let's be honest. That Q does land. That Q does a surprising amount of damage from Braum too. Like at level 5, it's like 200 damage. Like look at that! Look at that damage coming out onto that Xayah. Braum's almost a poke champion with that Q.
At this point, I mean, I look at the way Nautilus does his damage as well. But as soon as that Q lands and those auto attacks follow from the Kaisa, it's just so easy to stack that stun immediately, and then the Kaisa passive comes in to deal so much damage. I mean, it's so difficult to deal with, and it's so oppressive, and we're gonna have to see, I mean, maybe a much safer set of gameplay on the side of Akuma to maybe try to stop any type of snowballing that could happen. But again, there's only one kill into the game, only 5 minutes. I got very excited for a 2-minute first blood, but
Yeah.
I hope it continues to happen.
Just that level 2 all in. Like, what can I say? Level 2 all in. Level 2 to 1. Just gonna never gonna be fun on the side of the, or not gonna be fun for the Xayah. You know, Kaisa Braum are gonna love level 2. So, finding an Eve, Kaisa burning her
stun coming out. The Ignite taking down on the Leona. Leona falling a little bit dangerously. Maybe can try to turn. Braum facing the shield in the opposite direction, maybe to stop the pullback. And the health continues to dwindle. Viego coming in to try to stop the Kaisa, maybe take her out to trade for the 1-for-1. But it's going to look like it's going to be his life for it as well. Hecarim finding himself with 2 kills. The TP coming out from the Orianna. And Bran able to maybe get that wave shot before Orianna shows up. Hecarim ending up 2-0. Kaisa falling for 1. Xayah getting nothing for it. Leona getting nothing for it. And Viego, the only one actually getting anything for that play. The wall's going to come up in the top lane. The minions are going to chew away at the Mundo having to click his R. Maiden coming out, and Yorick is just as oppressive as ever. And Ego is not putting their foot off the gas. Bran trying to get his first plate, landing everything but the Q. The ult is going to come out. Bran's ult is going to pop, bouncing from the minions. And Orianna trades half her life, but Bran down to that last quarter. And we're going to see Maybe another fight happening in the top lane, and maybe try to claim the grubs. The slow is going to land the flash to the opposite side. Yorick, what has happened? Maybe trying to juke out the team, but falling immediately. Yorick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not quite sure. And the brand fell during that too. I didn't even see
And the
that.
brand also fallen. He solo killed to the Orianna. And whatever aggression that Ego is trying to put was too far, and all of a sudden it has just gone back to normal. It is 0-0 at this point.
One thing to note, I just noticed when they pinged it, the brand has cleanse and not TP this game, so that's an interesting choice, especially into that Orianna. I guess it's for the Viego stun and the Leona stun, but I personally would have gone for TP. The map pressure you get from TP is just too strong. So I'm very surprised that the brand took cleanse here.
If you're gonna go for a defensive summer spell, at least take the barrier. But I mean, I'm still trying to get over the flash.
Yeah.
Stun coming out onto the Braum. Braum not taking too much damage. The pullback gonna take a little bit left, but I mean, neither support's taking too much damage from that trade. The Q is gonna land on the Leona again. Braum, American sniper with this. Taking lives, taking names, hoping to stun up and take kills. I mean, it's just Braum. We love Braum.
Oh, yeah, Braum's a great champion right now. One of the strongest supports, probably top 2 on with the Leona. Hard to say which one is really quite stronger right now, but that Braum just such a strong support. It is very hard to trade into that Braum to do anything, and Brand's taking a good bit of damage. Does land the W on the Orianna. Orianna ult
back out. Ori looking to find another solo kill. Hecarim able to get the fear onto the Orianna, looking to try to trade this over. Viego ulting the brand. Hecarim trying to find their way. It's a massacre.
It is definitely a very
is
scrappy early game.
4-1. 8 minutes into the game, looking for a dive opportunity. This flash stun missing, the TP coming out from the top lane. York, Viego finding himself for his 5th kill. Viego on a rampage, and he is going to be a problem, proving that he can play this Viego better than Ego could in the last game. And at this point, looks like he might just snowball this game. It is looking very dangerous 9 minutes in.
Yes, it is. That Viego, like you mentioned, 5-1 at this point. And looking at the CS lead, I'm actually surprised. There's a 30 CS lead on this Kai'Sa, or on the Xayah into this Kai'Sa. I spent so much time talking about how strong of a lane that Kai'Sa Braum is. They got that first blood, but 25 CS down at 9 minutes is not going to feel good as the Kai'Sa.
You're down 13 CS, but that doesn't matter. You just take away 1 kill, give it to the Hecarim, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Viego playing the map super well, finding the picks that he needs to find. Excuse me, straight on my throat. But we will be okay. I need water.
Yeah, looking at the gold lead there, the Viego is up almost 1,000 gold on that Hecarim. Hecarim does have 2 kills, but on the rest of his map, you only have 1 more kill onto that Braum.
The ult is also going to try to hit onto the spell shield of the Mundo, not finding the way. Brand heading into dangerous territory. This Orianna poking him out very well. Brand having to back. He's next to a ward, so maybe Ori might find a kill. The flash coming out from the Braum, trying to land the ult. Xayah responding with the R to stop the CC from happening. Able to back out of that just fine. That is an R for R trade in the bot lane.
Yeah. I think as the Braum, you will take that trade. Unfortunately, he did have to commit the flash for that ulti, but Braum should have a lower cooldown on his ulti. I'm going to double check that. Braum's ult about 96 seconds. Xayah's 102, so a little bit of a difference, but not a huge difference this early into the game. So I don't know if it's really worth. You should be tracking that ulti as the Braum. You have to know Xayah's ult is up in that point, and definitely has the reaction time to just ult that flash ulti from the Braum. So little bit of an odd play from the Braum there to commit his flash and the ulti just to burn Xayah's flash, especially when the Kai'Sa wasn't even in the area. Kai'Sa was still walking back to lane. But now Xayah does have ulti. Hecarim's running in.
Come out the sun, the cleanse, and Braum does fall to the tower, but it is also a kill over to the Kai'Sa. It is a 1-for-1 trade for the for the AD carries, both getting a kill. Orianna health dwindling away, have to back away from this tower or she will fall as well. Not opting to stay in with that ultimate. Kai'Sa grabbing a plate, sharing it with the Hecarim, looking to rotate over to the Dragon. And, I mean, a one-for-one trade in the bot lane could have been better, could have been worse, but, I mean, you'll take it on the side of Ego.
Oh, yeah, you'll definitely take it. And notice during all of that, Diego was taking the grubs. So that is 6 grubs now over to the side of Akuma Shurikens. So you'll be very happy with that. Definitely. The grubs are that scaling objective. You can give up the first 2 Drakes in favor of those 6 grubs, I think. Especially if you have the scaling comp like Akuma Shuriken does. And you do see the Yorick kind of push the Mundo out of lane, but that lane that was winning so hard in favor of the York. Maybe York's just sitting on a lot of gold. Yeah, York's got 1,700 gold, but I was gonna say Mundo has that Warlock's already done, so it's gonna be much
Leona
harder.
is showing off the new skin sword like a centimeter away from the Hecarim before the back. I mean, we love a good whiff of a bloodthirsty sword.
Yeah, that York is gonna have a much harder time into this Mundo, and that's a dive onto the Kai'Sa.
Looking to try, she's got to clear that wave in order to stop it. The cleanse coming out, the flash. The Viego damage is absurd, and Orianna taking the kill for herself. And Kai'Sa falls under her turret as well.
Yeah, you saw it there. She does have her static shiv done now. I was not quite expecting the static shiv, especially, I mean, we've talked about the nerfs already enough tonight, but the static shiv Kraken Slayer, I'm a bit surprised to still see these 80 carries rushing those items. Like, I get it, Kai'Sa does need that wave clear, especially into that Xayah. Xayah has so much wave clear with her feathers. The Xayah really needs to be, or not the Xayah, the Kai'Sa really needs to be able to match that wave clear. However, there's a 40 CS lead in the bot lane now.
Yeah, I mean, there's an even kill. That is 3 kills right there. Pretty much the Xayah. Xayah making herself 4-1, looking to complete her Essence Reaver. The ultimate coming out to the brand, and it just looks like it's going to be an easy cleanup for the Ori. Ori now 3-0. Looking, did complete that not Seraphs, but did complete her Archangels, looking to try to get the stacks of the Seraphs to make her even stronger. And with that shield, it doesn't look like she can do anything. The ultimate is going to come out on Leona. Leona taking away the shield, maybe to try to get it out. The flash and the push from the Hecarim does get her out of that. Viego not looking to overextend. And just like that, Leona finding herself out of another sticky situation. And, I mean, Akuma playing the map and playing their matchups as perfect as they can. Almost a 5K gold lead on the side of them 15 minutes into the game.
I was gonna say that the brand positioning seemed a little bit questionable there, going full melee mode into that Orianna. Yeah, he probably didn't realize the Leona was there with her, but I think going into melee range of the Orianna, probably not the play as planned, if I had to make a guess. I'm not a mid lane player. I don't play brand. I don't like the champion. However, I don't think that's the play. Especially when you have to know Orianna's ulti is up. And looks like the Rift Herald is being dropped. They should be able to get that top tier 1 with the Rift Herald. Yep, it does fall. Gonna get a little bit of gold back, but still 4,000 gold advantage in 15 minutes for Akuma Shurikens right now. Let's see. Brand is just gonna continue to match this Orianna. Talked about it. Cleanse seems also questionable. Especially in this matchup. Like, what are you gonna cleanse off of Orianna? You're going to be matching her most of the time. It's really only going to be for the Braum or for the Viego stun.
And the Braum looks like it is going to fall again to this Xayah. Xayah extending her lead even further. The ultimate landing onto the Kai'Sa. The shield not enough. Ori claiming her second kill, taking turret shots, claiming the thing, and it looks like the Hecarim is going to almost fall as well, trying to get away. The ult coming out from the Xayah. Xayah claiming the life of the Hecarim as well. Akuma with a 3-for-0 trade, and it seems like this game is falling apart. And the brand looking to get caught out as well. Viego looking to claim his 6th kill, but Leona just snags it away, wanting to join the party. And 7K up for the side of Akuma 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, this is already looking like it's going to be a tough one for Egonog for sure. Akuma Shurikens just fighting after that game 1, just fighting back and fighting hard.
I mean,
this could be Kai'Sa. No, Kai'Sa doesn't have ulti. Orianna should be fine. Just get out of this.
I mean,
But
yes, the dragon stacking on the side of Ego has been great, but that is 6 grubs for a team that is 7K gold ahead. I mean,
yeah,
you can't do anything to that. It's uh,
and I would even hazard a guess and say Akuma Shurikens has the scaling comp here. Zaya scales better. Zaya basically fills the same I can't think of the word something same role in a team comp as the Sivir. So the Zaya is going to do that massive AoE damage with that crit chance. He already has IE and Essence Reaver. Like that's a 2 item Zaya versus Sivir or versus Kai'Sa's 1. That is a difference of 2,300 gold just in the bot lane itself. I mean,
yeah,
just on the 80 carries.
once again, Coffee Bean just showing that hey, he can play AD carry and he can show a masterclass when he needs to.
Yeah,
I mean, unsung hero of this game so far is this Mundo. I mean, you want this game to scale. You want this game to go ahead. I mean, Oriana looks like she might get her caught out, but the Yorick not be able to catch her with the ultimate and the slow coming out. But Mundo, I mean, taking what seemed like a dangerous matchup at first and keeping it 0-1, the minions are going to land on the flash coming out, the Seraph shield, making sure that the Ori doesn't take any damage, and that is a flash for flash trade. And there's nothing that the Yorick gets for it.
yeah. That does feel bad. York is that very strong champion in the 1v1. So I'm going to say the one saving grace here for Egonog is they do have that York. That York is going to be that massive split push threat. But at this point, they cannot team fight against Akuma Shurikens. Like the Zaya is way too far ahead, going to do a ton of AoE damage. This Orion is landing beautiful ultimates all game. Like the only hope for Egonog at this point, and we're only 20 minutes into the game, but I think the only hope really is this Yorick.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, we're seeing ult in the top lane landing onto the Zaya. Zaya still ability with their ult, able to pull it back with a flash to take out the Hecarim. She might fall to the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa getting a shutdown, but she's also going to fall as well. Ori getting another kill. And Brand looking like he might be next, but might get away in time. I mean, the Q coming out from the Brahmin maybe slowed him down. Viego hunting for more. And I mean, the shutdown onto the side of Kai'Sa is going to dwindle this gold lead back down to 7K, but I mean, 19 minutes into the game.
Still 7K gold lead at 20 minutes. Like that is the biggest. I think that's the biggest gold lead we've seen at 20 minutes this entire series. Even when
I mean,
Egonog was massively ahead game one, I think it was only like 5 or 6K at 20 minutes.
Mundo going where he
Yep.
pleases. Popping
Yep. Just completely ignoring the York there, having to burn flash to get out.
Viego here running. He's just going to get out without a problem. There's nothing really that Ego can do. Akuma just playing the map super well. I mean, Mundo slowly scaling, getting that solo 700 gold. Loads of damage from his Q coming out, and this top turret's going to fall to the Oriana as well.
Yeah, we'll see. Grant does have a lot of wave clear. Needs one more wave, but I do think you're right. I think Oriana will stay up there. We'll be able to get that tower. And you're talking about this Mundo, definitely an unsung hero. 20 CS up on this Yorick right now. And you even saw in that team fight, he just completely, not the team fight, but in the split push, he just completely ignored the Yorick, just took the tower.
Yeah.
Yorick couldn't do anything. He has the Black Cleaver, but oh, good Brawl multi.
The Zaya is going to fly back. He's going to pull back, going to claim the life of the Hecarim. Zaya trading 1 for 1. The Kai'Sa ult is going to come out, claim the Zaya's life. Braum is going to fall to the Viego, and the Kai'Sa is just going to get blown up by the Oriana. And what seems like Kai'Sa trying to claw her team's way back into the game. Yorick is going to claim an objective bounty in the bot lane, but this is going to be a Baron on the side of Akuma.
Yeah. I don't think this Brand can really stop him. Maybe he can look for a Miracle Steal, but doesn't look like it. He's just going to walk away, go back, and get that top way tower. So that should just be Baron in favor of Akuma Shurikens. But definitely, you're right that Kai'Sa is definitely trying to look for those hero plays. Both of the last 2 deaths on the Zaya have been to the Kai'Sa. So Kai'Sa trying to claw her way back in, but still a 2,600 gold difference between the bot laners of Akuma Shurikens and Egonog. And like I didn't mention that York, it does have that split push threat. You saw Akuma Shurikens did commit to that Baron, take some time. York got 2 towers for it.
I mean, it brings the gold lead from 11K to 9,500. So I mean, yeah, sure, it helps, but all that gold going to the Yorick, all he can do is split push. Tries to join the
Yeah.
fight, you might get one shot. And I mean, the dragon stacking helps. It's it tries to delay the game, which is what they want, but how much longer?
hmm York, who knows? The only way that I could see Egonog winning this game right now, York just split pushes and goes into their base. Somehow the Akuma Shurikens just ignores him and he takes the Nexus by himself. That's the only way that I see Egonog winning
The
this.
ultimate coming out from the Brand. Brand not doing a lot of damage. I mean, taking just the same amount of damage as the Orianna. Orianna spotting out the Braum, the flash coming out, looking for the Q. The Q does land. Ori having to flash, maybe getting the speed up, sidesteps the ultimate without a problem. Might be able to get away. Hecarim is looking to maybe get the ultimate off. The ultimate does land. The Seraph Shield does soak up most of the damage. Orianna looking to make a play to stay and keep on. I mean, the base is being cracked. The shield from the Orianna stays. But that's at the cost of an inhib tower.
2 inhibs. Egonog lost 2 inhibs for that chase onto the Orianna.
I mean,
And it
looking
looks
to get
like
the shutdown, and I mean, the 10k gold lead just stands, and there's nothing. Every time Ego tries to make a play, Akuma just shuts him down on the other side of the map.
yeah. And it looks like Akuma should be able to get this Drake here as well. Zaya just taking the Gromp. I like it. Make sure, hey, you don't get your jungle anymore. We're winning this side of the map. You don't get to farm your jungle over here. And yeah, second Drake going over in favor of Akuma Shurikens, and they're gonna use those Baron empowered recalls. I don't think Hecarim will be able, well, Hecarim might be able to get this tower, never mind. But yeah, it's just like you said, every time Egonog is looking for a play, looking for a pick on the opposite side of the map, they lose so much. Like, yes, they did get the shutdown on the Orianna, but they lost 2 inhibitors for that.
Yeah, I mean, Akuma just deathball it down a lane, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, and like, question, who switched the games to the LCK server? What are with these Chemtech souls? Oh my!
Right? This isn't the third game in a row, but definitely this game and the last one's been Chemtexels. And yeah, exactly. What happened here? Where's all the Chemtex coming from? I want to see a Hex Tech. I want to see an Infernal.
If I want to see a Chemtech, give me old Chemtech back, not this boring plant agriculture botanist stuff. I want to see blood, and that is what we're getting this game.
Yeah, we are. And it looks like Akuma Shuriken is just gonna deathball, like you said, in the top lane here. Oh, probably gonna get this inhib tower, but we'll see. Baron buff did run out, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to siege this tower, but Egonog is going to have to split their focus a bit here because they do have 2 waves of super minions coming in.
Stun is going to come out of Leona. Leona losing half her health to the brand poke. The stun is going to come out. Leona looking like she's going to fall. The ultimate hitting 4 people. Braum looking the opposite way with the shield. And Braum might have just solo lost the game looking the other way with his shield.
Damn, that was an impressive team. That should just be the game there.
That looks like the game.
I mean, Braum was doing. He was trying to block the pull back from the feathers. Like, that was his ultimate goal with that one. But seeing a little bit of BM in the all chat there, we see Leona saying, "Y'all got me." But what a crazy game 3 from Akuma Shurikens. We saw there just Coffee Beans showing in these last 2 games that you put him on a hyper carry, he will carry these games. Like, that Zaya play was insane. The Sivir play before it, we saw 61,000 damage. And yeah, you cannot, like, the Zaya is such a great pick into this dive that Ego had drafted. Hecarim tries to ult the Zaya, tries to kill her, just pop R. It's not a big deal. Braum tries to ult her, just pop R. Really, like, what are they gonna do? You never catch that Zaya. It's just, like I said, Coffee Beans just putting on a master class of how to play hyper carries these games, it feels like.
I mean, yeah, and you're right. I mean, taking advantage of the split second windows that he has, turning 1v3s, 1v4s into one for ones, and even buying enough time for the rest of his team to join the fight. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this was a statement. They did not take losing the first game lightly. Coming in game 2 with a close game, and then coming into the third game throwing haymakers, going for the knockout. I mean, good God, he's dead on the ladder. I mean, it is
He's already dead. Stop hitting him.
Akuma with the statement game to end out the series, and just like that, match MVP. That's all I can say, and it's gonna
Oh
have
yeah.
to go. It's gonna have to go to the AD carry of Akuma.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Just that Sivir doing so much damage in that game too, and the Zaya really showing like why you pick those hyperscalers in these team fights. That Zaya only 21,000 damage, but definitely not as long as a game as the second one. So not quite nearly enough time to do as much damage on the Zaya as they did the Sivir. But you saw it, Kaisa Braum. I mentioned it's a very strong early game matchup. They got first blood onto that Leona, but the Coffee Beans just didn't care. So, I'm throwing my feathers out. You guys can't do anything about it. You try to dive me, it's not going to matter to me. I can just press R. It's not going to matter. And yeah, definitely match MVP. I think going over Coffee Beans here, just having a great performance in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, and I mean with that, it's just Akuma looking to continue their destructive streak through the game, through their league, and I mean looking to hopefully find their ways up into um into
Playoffs.
no, not playoffs, but the high into a higher seed. I mean, after a game like that, I mean they looked unstoppable after the second and third game. Sadly, dropping the first game, whether it be on stream nerves or lack of comfort, but I mean coming back out, swinging for the fences, and just claiming the dub. I mean, what else can I say? They played well. They made the adjustment after the first game. They played well, kept a close second game, and then completely stopping the third game.
Oh yeah. That brand. Maybe they didn't need to ban the brand those first 2 games.
Did not look
Brand
like it.
going 1-1-5, having a little bit of questionable positioning there in those 1v1s versus Oriana. And not to just toot Coffee Bean's horn, but the Oriana play from Dab was very good, hitting a lot of really good ultimates on Oriana. The Diego just kind of dominating that early game. Did have a 7-1-11 KDA, like 18.0. That's also insane. The entire team did well. Just Coffee Beans was kind of just putting on a masterclass. It felt like.
Yeah, I mean, just opting to play the comp that your enemy just played is a statement and saying, "Listen, this is strong. You just can't play it as
Hmm.
well as we can." And I mean, with that, congratulations all for those who have won their points. I know I didn't. Um,
Me neither. I lost it all again.
but thank you for joining us for this exciting 3 match series. Congrats to Akuma Shurikens for win the series, and I'm looking forward to the adjustments Ego Nog makes for the future. Thank you all for joining us. This has been Caden, your play-by-play caster for the evening, joined with
Cradles.
and with that, thank you all for coming. Have a great night.
I thought I had it figured out. Believed in us. We were meant to be, no doubt. A teenage love. Everybody else could see the way we were. Living in a fantasy. When